If you've ever had second thoughts about going to McDonald's for food, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. It is it is Wednesday. It is the middle of the week, the turn, hump day, schlump day, whatever you call it. Here we are on Wednesday, and we have a whole bunch of news, and that's not even counting the Tesla report that comes later today. So a lot for us to break down. Dennis had some epic rants on pre-market prep, which is why we're a little bit late, but we're always going to be a little bit late if Dennis is going to rant like that. So we're going to go ahead and get it done. 13 is literally chomping at the bit to make some money. Let's roll.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Live Trading. It's great to have the family back. Love how much activity is going on in here from everybody. There's so much, I can't even name all of you guys. I would just eat into the time. And since we have a truncated pre-market session here, sorry, I can't get the words out. We're just going to go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to start by bringing on my main man, 13. 13, how are you doing, dude?
I'm having a good time. That opener was, I'm still kind of tickled by it, but it was a good one.
Well, I actually want to share a win real quick because, in fact, we'll do that. You know what? We'll do that here in a sec. Let me go ahead and bring the chart. Let's talk about SPY, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just start talking about the whole McDonald's thing, and we'll go through some of the movers. Movers are kind of light here today, so we should be okay on time. Looking at the SPY here, you can actually see we are right under the trend line, but perhaps more importantly, we are also under this 582.30 level, which 13, you identified this yesterday. This was absolutely an area where the stock was using it as resistance. Once it broke out, it back tested it to confirm it as support. We went higher. Now, we did break that here in the pre-market, but we're really, really close to the spot, 1 point away. So I suspect we're going to have some type of test or something here today with that level. We're going to go ahead and kind of watch that here on the SPY. That's basically all I have here for the levels. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, so just to give a real quick explanation on why that particular 582.30 level is important. So we've been talking about how we're kind of in a range right now, trading sideways in the SPY. We've been seeing that over the past week, and we're pretty much in between the 580.33 previous all-time high and the 585.27 previous all-time high. So that's basically been the range for the time being. But in between those ranges, we have the 582.30 level, and that's interesting because that was the almost exact same close that Wednesday and Thursday had last week, despite them being wildly different price action throughout the day. So mark that level off, 582.30. As long as we're trading within this consolidation, that's going to be a support and resistance level. So since we're down beneath it here, if we reverse, possibly off that previous all-time high that we got the reversal off of yesterday, and we start trading back up, look for a breakout over 582.30 like we did yesterday. Alternatively, if we are open the session higher than that, you could look at that as support, maybe even just a temporary support before we get a breakdown. But 582.30, as long as we trade in this channel, that's going to be a level to watch for.
Okay. Real good stuff there on the SPY. We'll see how this plays out. We will be checking in on this, I'm sure, throughout the course of the day. Voodoo, welcome. Hey, Voodoo. I know that you were I swear, you were in the process of moving to South Carolina. It gets absolutely ravaged by a hurricane. I hope you and yours and all of your stuff are okay. We will be here for whenever you are ready. You reach out to me if you need a hand with anything. Great to have you back here. Great to have you back here. Okay, let's talk about the big news of the day. I got to say, we were live on Happy Hour yesterday when the McDonald's news broke for this E. coli scare. Lot of stuff that really just kind of good stuff happened in terms of breaking this down. The first thing that I'm going to highlight is when this was actually happening, when this was happening in real time, one of our Happy Hour members immediately right down here said in the sub 285 was like, I think that this would be a buy right now, and you're probably going to be able to sell it before the morning. We talked for a couple of minutes, and when this thing moved above 290s, he's like, yeah, I would just kind of sell it right here. And that trade, I mean, that was a live trade call on a show that is generally a recap show that has stolen a name about, shows that involve drinking and all of that. So just an unbelievably masterful call from our group yesterday. We had like 11 points, like 11 points in just a matter of minutes from watching this. So anyway, what's going on here? We got a report that there was an E. coli breakout, 49 different cases reported across 10 different states, all of them in the Mountain West region. And that drove McDonald's down here. Now, for any of you that were watching pre-market prep, if you heard Dennis, I think he hit this spot on. As far as what to look for going forward, first of all, this stock is absolutely on deck for me to day trade here today. What I'm looking at is the pre-market range. If it breaks out, I'm going to look for a back test and a potential long. If it breaks down, I'm going to look for a back test and a potential short. That's the trade plan here on McDonald's. I'll let you know if we end up getting that. But going forward, I really think Dennis hit it on the head. If you start to see reports of E. coli in other states or in other countries, look out. This stock's going to get cracked. If you don't see that, you're probably going to be okay. The other thing that happened here is when this took place, I noticed that Tyson, ticker TSN, was trading down. I thought, maybe this is going to be a chicken thing. The report was that this had to do with the quarter pounders. I have a friend that works at Tyson. I immediately messaged him and said, hey, can you tell me about what's going on with this E. coli breakout? And said some real good stuff. Said, we're a very small part of McDonald's beef supply, so it's more than likely another supplier or we would have gotten a notification. We do their chicken, almost no domestic beef for them. So basically telling me that Tyson was unaffected. Then it said the likely source is from sliced onions, not from beef patties. That proves to be the case here. Tyson, of course, traded up from that. So just a lot of really good stuff from our community breaking this down in real time. So that's what's going on here. I do think there are going to be some trades. Be careful with this in terms of like how you actually want to trade this. When we look at the daily chart here, we've actually sold off into a previous consolidation area right below 300. We're also below the 50-day moving average, so it'll be very interesting to see if we continue to break down. You'll notice that there are a number of converging moving averages down here right about 280. That's 13 points under where we're at right now. So if we do continue to move down here, I do think 280 is going to be a reasonable target. If this is kind of behind us, I think that we might be able to test 300. I don't know if it goes all the way back to where it started, but 300, we'll see here. So watching McDonald's, I have no position, but this is definitely going to be on deck today. 13, did you have anything else that you wanted to add to McDonald's?
Not really. You covered pretty much everything there on that whole E. coli breakout, including the onions. So that's basically everything that I knew about it. So now everybody knows everything I know about.
Yep,
McDonald's.
there you go. Fairchild, no, this was Stay Focused, who sometimes joins us in the live trading show and is a constant reminder that as traders, we all need to stay focused because you have no idea when that opportunity is going to be there. But it is important to take advantage of that. So, okay, did you want to do movers real quick?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go through the movers so we can come back, talk about whatever you folks want. Again, I do know 14 minutes here. We should have Tim Melvin on later today, so get pumped for that. All right, way to peel back those layers.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the. I'm waiting for the
amazing
Shrek
handle. You have an amazing comment. You have won today. One up to you, sir. Well done. Okay,
where's the Shrek comments? Come on, layers, donkey.
Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything? Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the movers here. I guess we can start with LRN since it doesn't appear on the list here. LRN, this is Stride. Stride shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and issued fiscal year 25 and Q2 revenue guidance above estimates. Stocks up 26.8% here on ticker LRN. We take a look at the daily chart here. This puts us at 81, right back into another consolidation area. 13, what do you make of this? What looks like great report here for ticker LRN.
Yeah, this company was getting hammered all month. And then we have this great report that not only pulls us back above the 200-day SMA, but the 20 and the 50 as well. Now, another thing here with this is that this has a pretty high short interest. Almost 19% of the float is shorted with 7.25 days to cover. The float is a little bit thicker with the 30 million, almost 31 million shares in the float. That shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially with the shorts, interest attached to it. So I just think that we might see a little bit of squeezing action, but be careful with this one. It's a little bit of a thicker name and a more expensive name. This is trading over $80 now. So I don't exactly know how much we'll get out of this, but they do have some pretty interesting metrics, especially that short interest, and the big guide is going to help lift that too. So something that we could definitely try to get a trade to on. But I don't know exactly how much we're going to get because, like I said, the float's a little bit bigger and the price is a little bit higher.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've never traded LRN before. I have no idea how this trades. I definitely want to watch this out of the open before taking a stab at it. That's okay because I have some other things on my list here. Real quick, Lynn and Randy, it's great to see you this morning. I did actually catch that. Last night was amazing if you were a hockey fan. I'll be very quick, though. I didn't realize the Predators were winless. They had way too much talent on that team to be winless. Good to see them get their first win, and I think you'll get another one when you play my Blackhawks because they are not sharp yet. We'll see how that goes here this weekend, but I hope you enjoyed last night. Okay, let's get back to the movers list here and roll through some of them. VRAX, another one that's popping here today. Viralax Biolab shares are trading higher after the company announced a distribution agreement with Europa Biosite to commercialize the Immunoselect research use portfolio in the United Kingdom and Ireland. Before we actually go into this news, I really want to shout out our team here at Benzinga, Zoltan, and the entire rest of the news desk team. When you click on the news here, you will see that we actually released this as an exclusive. So Benzinga customers had access to this news before anyone else because we beat the press release by a solid 15 minutes by putting this news out here. Big shouts to our news desk for getting it done for our members here. I don't know if this is going to hold up. I don't know if this is going to retrace or if this is going to go, but this was a really, really great way to get that news early on. If we go back to the chart here, you can see we popped initially, came all the way back into 2. Now we're a full point higher and we're consolidating here. As far as a trade goes, let's definitely stay above the VWAP. Maybe we'll get a pull to that and a potential buy spot there. Also, honorable mention here for the $3 level, which may produce some support for that as well. Taking a look at VRAX here, 4 million shares. So this kind of fits right into our butter zone, wouldn't you say, 13?
Well, yeah, it's interesting too. The last time we had some really big movement on this back in August, we also had a exclusive from Benzinga. So it seems like every time that we cover this company, it gets noticed and it moves up. So that's really good. But the thing that concerns me about this is that I really can't get a read on their financials. I don't have anything for their income statement. When I look at their balance sheet, they have about 3.5 million. But then I look at their news, and the concerning thing for me is that on September 30th, they were planning to do a new share offering. I have not seen that executed yet. So this could be a situation where I think it is at the market offering. So if this continues to move up, we could see this halt at some point, maybe even today, and that offering could come out then. So that's the one big thing I'd be careful with this one on, is that they have that offering that they're considering, and it's going to be an at the market, which means that the higher the price goes, the better it is for them. So that's about all I've got on this. Everything else was pretty right on. The float and everything else you said, yeah. But
really good stuff there, 13. And just kind of watching the pre-market trading action here, you can see the pre-market volume is compressing and kind of dying off, but the price is staying sideways. I don't know if that's going to continue, but so far, so good. That's a really good sign for a potential trade. We'll assess this here at the open. No position for me at this time in VRAX. Next on the list here is going to be DBVT. That is ticker DBVT. Name of the company, DBV Technologies. I have no clue what this does. I have never traded this before. DBV Technology shares are trading higher after the company announced regulatory updates for the Viaskin peanut patch in the United States and Europe. Okay. Not sure what
peanut allergy dermatology company.
There you go. Okay, boy, you figured that out fast. Bonus points for 13 for just doing it, operating at lightning speed here. You can see we did pop in the after hours. We popped again here today, but we have that dreaded fade where we retrace a majority of that move and then leak away from the VWAP. So as far as a trade goes here, we really want this to find some type of support level wherever that is. Maybe it's going to be in the consolidation area here, 95 cents. Maybe it holds on to $1. Maybe it sells off to the after hours low yesterday at 80 cents and finds some support. For me, trade plan, if this is what we're going to do, wait for the support. No need to be a hero here. What do you got here on this peanut allergy stock?
Didn't quite cover this one, but the float is 75 million shares, so that's a little bit high. It might, do the same thing that these heavier float ones do. May see some pops throughout the day, may leak mostly when there's lighter trading. It's just going to be a heavier float stock, so you're going to probably see it slowly sell off. Could even maybe lose $1. Not sure if that's the case or not. Looking at their balance sheet, they have 66 million in the bank. They burn half that a quarter. So they've got 2 quarters worth of runway left there. And then aside from that, I don't think I really see anything else of that's interesting. Short interest doesn't look anything to be really, concerned about. They did a 1-for-2 reverse split on June 7th. And that's really all I've got. So I would just say this one, I think the risk here is that the float's a little bit heavy. And they have about 2 quarters of cash runway left. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, it sounds like if this really does end up working, that could be a huge leap forward. I have my son's friend that has peanut allergy, so I'd love to see him not have to deal with that anymore. So this could end up being a very good thing, but we might be early to this this new patch that they're working on.
Yeah, I have a friend too that is has a really, really bad peanut allergy. I'm with you on that. So we'll see here. Okay, really good breakdown there. Next on the list here is going to be SAVE. This is ticker SAVE. This is Spirit Airlines. So we popped here in the after. I know every time we mention this, we end up smiling. Popped here in the after hours, actually went higher here today. What's going on with this? Spirit Airlines stock jumps after Frontier's renewed merger interest. So we were on the path to bankruptcy. It looks like there's more merger interest here in SAVE. What do you make of all this, 13?
Yeah, they were getting really beat up and heavily shorted because everybody thought, well, this company's going to go into bankruptcy. And then we had news, I think it was like earlier this week that came out saying that they've got time to handle their debts. They were, their creditors allowed them more time to restructure or refinance. So they extended that deadline, and now we have a potential merger here. So it seems like the ticker is very appropriately named SAVE because this airlines is getting saved. And also there is quite a high short interest here on this company. 32.85% of the float shorted with 7.78 days to cover. We could continue to see a squeeze in this. The float is 108 million shares, so you know how I feel about those heavy floaters. But
yep.
At the same time, that's a very large amount of the float shorted. So we could continue to see more squeezing action as we get more news coming out about a potential merger with Frontier.
Okay, really good stuff there on SAVE. We got 4 minutes left. I'm going to keep running through a few here. Fun, ticker PHUN. This looks like continuation from yesterday. I don't really see any fresh news that can really kind of attribute to this. So we're going to view this as a potential momentum play. Remember, PHUN is also related, is similar, if you will, sympathy, if you will, to ticker DJT. That is also higher here today. And as Lynn and Randy mentioned yesterday, ticker RUM Rumble. You could also kind of throw this into the basket. So these three stocks looking like they're trading up here. Nothing has changed in terms of the short interest, the news, the anything that might be driving this. Just looks like continued momentum. So I think the technicals are likely going to be in play here. Shout out to Glenn, who's been throwing out levels, actionable levels in a timely fashion on all of these names. Shout out to you, Glenn. It looks like we're going to have those three names on deck here again today. 13, did you have anything that you want to cover on any of these?
Well, just with Funware, be careful. We have a 91 RSI on the daily, and yes, you're right. It does move with DJT. I was trading it yesterday on just watching DJT, whatever that did. Fun, which follows shortly. For me, I think you could still see this push up to about $20, but I would be very, very cautious about that because the RSI is very extended, and we do need to have this cool off. So I would expect that we do see a little bit of pullback here at some point today because it's so extended.
Mind your technicals, play defense, protect your capital. And if you do those three things, you might have an opportunity to make some money here on PHUN. Next on the list here is going to be TVGN. This is Tevogen Bio Holdings. I know we've traded this as a group here before. Tevogen Bio shares are trading higher after it announced an artificial intelligence effort. Tevogen AI has joined Microsoft for startups. So there you go. You're getting an AI PR here. To the moon we go. Ramping here on volume on its second leg higher. Taking a look at some of the stuff, very, very minimal short interest here. Did have some insiders buy earlier this year, but it was quite small. So I'm not sure how much we're going to put in, how much stock we're going to put into that. See what I did there? LOL. Flow 31.5 million here. We are about a third of the average shares traded before the market even opens. 13, what do you make of this TVGN?
Didn't cover this one, but the balance sheet looks like ass.
That is about as simple as it gets. There you go. There you go. But we'll see if this gives us some trading opportunities here. I guess kind of mind your levels. We are at a level here. We'll see if we can push above and get above 2 there. Okay. Bivy looks like this is a continuation from yesterday. We've traded this a few times here this week. Also looks like what is this? Join Biotech's exclusive live investor webinar and Q&A session on November 7th. So we're getting a PR here about a Q&A session in the future. I don't know if that's why the stock should be up 21.5%. I do think this is kind of just on momentum, relative volume, since this has really been in play the last several days.
30 seconds.
Powell also gapping up. Okay, 30 seconds. We did run out of time. I'm sorry about that. CYCC, you had something about this one. Maybe we'll start with this one. I'll go over to the other screen and I'll load this one up.
Real quick, it's doing the same thing it did yesterday's pre-market. We had these attempts getting over VWAP, and they've been getting rejected. So kind of watching to see if we get a similar open today, and see if that's what we end up getting. We are about to open here. Also watching Archer and Joby. Those had news yesterday, so that are beneficial to their EV tolls. We're open.
We are open. Let's see what we're doing here.
I'm looking at VRAX right now to see what that does. LRN I have on the screen. That one's not doing anything. We didn't cover it, but LSB I also put on my radar too because it was moving and it was moving on no news, so it might just be a China pump.
Cut.
All right. Yeah, small caps do need some love. The IWM was hurting. Take a look at that. Did we end up getting back over that? Nope, we went lower. Went lower back into that triangle.
Shannon, tally ho. That reminds me of Top Gun. That reminds me of Top Gun every time I hear that. Welcome, Shannon. Good morning. It is great to see you. Okay, McDonald's, by the way, first move here is lower. Let me go ahead and bring up the McDonald's chart. I'll show you what my trade plan here is on McDonald's. I have this marked off in my broker, but let me go ahead and do it here real quick. We're basically doing a range right in here. Okay, are we going to break down from this range? Are we going to break out of this range? A back test helps confirm our entry. I'm waiting for the stock to tell me what to do based on the pre-market here. No position yet, but we're still waiting on that.
None of those names that we talked about really moved so far out of the gate. The only ones that I've seen with any kind of movement are Archer and Joby. We popped out of the open here, and now we're coming back in. But this one, these two, they had news. It was from the FAA. They finalized rules for pilots for these types of aircrafts, being that these are kind of new to the aircraft scene. We don't really have too many commercial vehicles that take off vertically and fly like airplanes. So I had to make some new rules.
Here is your TVGN. Good call here from the group. Topus, Wiss, and Jay, all on TVGN here. Nice little ramp out of the open on that as we continue to move higher here. Also, CNSP, I saw someone spamming this ticker earlier. This is a penny stock, not our bread and butter. Looks like we had a little bit of a dip here. Looks like maybe a potential VWAP reclaim. The news on this, CNS Pharmaceutical shares trading higher. The company requested a panel hearing for November 5th. And will be subject to a halt in the suspension or delisting decision until then. So the stock cannot be delisted despite being a penny stock at a minimum until that November 5th. I don't follow the stock. I wish I had more information for you, but that's what's going on here. VWAP test right now.
LRHC is getting mentioned. And also when it comes to TVGN, there is a 200 EMA on the daily chart at 277. So quite possible we could end up getting up to there. But first we need to hit 247, which was the October 17th high.
Okay. Here is TVGN.
So yeah, I got LRHC and SGMO getting mentioned. SGMO, I think that was when we traded either yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, or wasn't it both day? I feel like this has been, it was yesterday. I beg your pardon. You're right. The first time there, 13. It was yesterday.
All right, so Joby and Archer coming back in after that pop. LSB pushing up. LRN, small pop. Maybe we start to leak now. VRAX kind of whipping around, going up and down, but pretty much right back to where they opened. So not sure on a direction yet for this one.
All right, McDonald's here. Looks like it bounced off the bottom of the range, going for the top side of the range. Let's see what happens there. I am long a little piece of this. I'll look to sell if we find resistance at that 298-ish area. We will see here on McDonald's. Also, as we talked about yesterday, just in terms of trading strategy and all that, stop here at break even, stop here at entry. Now that the stock's moving in my direction, likely to be volatile, don't want to take a loss on it. So we'll just pop our stop there, and here it comes back in. We'll see if I get stopped out. I'll let you know. TVGN continuing to go to the highs.
Yep, TVGN starting to get some resistance around the 225 area. Might need some time, but that EMA does look like it's trying to get to there. It was at 277, but first we need to break out of 250.
LRN took out the after hour and pre-market high here and going higher. You remember you had mentioned that this has significant short interest there. So we'll see what happens here with LRN.
Yeah.
Save dipped and came right back to VWAP. That's interesting.
Oh gosh, I don't think I'll even have time to say it, but LRN, I have 88 marked off as the next upside target. We're not too far away from there now. Don't have anything above 88. I think that would be blue sky territory for the stock. Yeah, looks like it. Yep. It's going to be, so we're going to get some price discovery here. So break out those fibs. We'll get into some levels there past 88.
All right. You guys are mentioning NVIDIA. Really haven't looked a whole lot at technology here. NVIDIA had a really good day yesterday. Well, I guess it's just kind of held up there. NVIDIA dipping out of the open here today, but not breaking down. So we'll see if NVIDIA can hold. McDonald's continuing to try and trade to the top end of the range.
Getting a mention on Boomin, and LRHC is over $1 now. But, oh, here we go. More upside with TVGN. First stop for TVGN, I think that's going to be up close to 250, but the EMA that I saw, that was at 277. There's potential it could go up to there too.
Yeah, Fairchild looks like that's all because of you, bro. Just because you mentioned it here, you brought the sellers in. Big red bar taking us back down to
the sellers.
Fairchild, I know how it goes. I know how it feels.
All the sellers. Fairchild's mentioning it. Come on.
Let's go. LRHC, that is above $1. Congrats to any. You know what? We're going to just start with some cash register rings. I know a lot of you folks were on this one. I didn't take this one myself, but here we go. Also, by the way, Peloton green here this morning. Oh, so we had that. We had a lot of fireworks yesterday on Peloton.
Mm-hmm. This one also should have some good short interest as well.
Yeah, indeed.
20 and over 5 days of cover. Yep, that's a candidate. Okay, so TVGN got as high as 232. Getting a little
and LRHC is halted. Sorry, going to TVGN now.
No problem. Also, Tracy Leverman mentioning QNTM and Smoke Tuna mentioning OMGA. But yeah, for TVGN, looking for a breakout over 250, so it can take us to 277. That's the plan for TVGN, I think here. Looks like we have a return of the upside from Joby. That just made a new intraday high at 659. Archer not doing the same quite yet.
Okay, here is your Joby. We have 22, the favorite stock here of 13, 22 XXII. This was a penny stock. It was a little bit higher here, but coming back in. I had to mention it. It's 12 cents. I had to mention it just because of its name. PHUN continuing to pull to the downside. I would guess the same is true for DJT. Actually, DJT holding in a little bit better than PHUN. Let's also take a look at Rumble while we're looking at that basket. That also holding in here. Let's take a look back at McDonald's because it looks like this is a bit wild here.
Sideshow LRHC float that I have is 11.3 million.
There you go. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
CFFN is also being mentioned here by the tuna. Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
Ooh, that looks like a thin one, low volume, but that's popping here out of the open.
I don't think I need to watch anything else. TVGN is just doing it for me. 244 we're up to, so we could be getting that resistance up near 250, 249, 250 pretty soon. But if we can get through that, I'm looking at that 277 EMA, the 200 EMA on the daily chart.
Webcoin, love this. LRHC had similar news release on August 16th, just FYI. They gave the same 100 mil run rate then. Appreciate that, Webcoin.
All right. VRAX finally seems like they're choosing a direction. That direction is down. LRN kind of just holding up here. This thing has a pretty good spread. I see 30-cent spread on this. In between 30 cents and $1 spread. Be careful with LRN. Yeah, fun leaking. SGMO, that had a pop to 143 and came back in. Still sideways now.
Costco ripping. Tesla, by the way. Who's trading Tesla here today ahead of the earnings?
Oh,
Tesla.
Perfect. Tapas. 23% on TVGN. Going to call it a day. See you tomorrow. Hey, have a good day.
You know what? We're going to do the trifecta on that one. Bang, bang, bang. Way to go, Tapas. That's an early day for you. Punch that clock, baby.
I don't love to see you go, but I'd love to see you win.
Hey, I was going to say, dubs are the most important thing here. Okay, wins for the group, most important thing here. McDonald's, every time that this is pulled back so far here this morning, it's been bought right back to the highs. I gotta say, my gut tells me here, 298 going to be your next test here on McDonald's. We'll reassess what happens if it gets up there. Still in this one.
Okay, here comes the 250 area and TVGN. Are we going to break through or are we going to get rejected? Either one is fine because I already looked at 250 as a potential resistance area. But if we break out, 277 is what I'd be looking for. I maybe even want to get out a little bit earlier around 270, 275. But that's the plan, and it's looking pretty good with TVGN.
TXN, Robert mentioning TXN. That's Texas Instruments. That reported earnings yesterday. This was kind of wild in the after hours as well. First here was a dip, then we went green. We actually held that. Now we're going even more green. So it looks like a breakout from yesterday's after hours highs here on Texas Instruments. TXN.
TVGN is just the winner this morning, man. This thing is insane.
Yeah, this is insane. You did way, but this is way more action here than McDonald's, for example. LRHC is open. That popped higher here on LRHC.
Yeah, TXN. This is a great move. Robert, I don't know if you ended up buying any when it had that initial dip off the print, but man, if you did, well done, sir. All right, let's take a look at some of the other ones. VRAX still going down. LRN also leaking, but still above the open, and but it's beneath VWAP.
Upwork here. What happened with Upwork? Upwork shares are trading higher after the company reported preliminary Q3 revenue guidance above estimates. Also, the company announced organizational changes, including workforce reduction. That should save some cash. Upwork, 26.5% here this morning.
Yeah, Robert, you got lots of TXN on that drop. Well done, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's good trading, Robert. Active in the happy hour show. You just love to see that, man. Just love it.
He also likes IonQ. Will saying serve to 1049.
That DBVT continues to roll over here. So here, let's run through those real quick. IONQ was the first one. That's ripping out of the gate here.
Wow.
Is this the Access Quantum Computing? Okay, so I couldn't remember if it's a quantum computing name or an EV charging name. Quantum Computing. Here we go. IONQ. That's higher here.
Getting a pull from TVGN back down to VWAP. So we got some more of that resistance. Got as high as 262, which is, more than I was looking for. But hey, it's gonna, you just take what it gives you. All right.
Snap out of the gate here. I know there always seems to be a lot of people that trade Snap.
Looks like funds turning around. QBTS also having a good morning after a drop out of the gate. So DJT, this has been a particular level that it's been trying to get over for all pre-market and now the intraday session. This 3650 level, it has not been able to close over. We traded above it, but could not close it. Now we're testing it again. As soon as we start closing over that, we could see some continued upside, but we need to close above it for a good period of time, like maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Jay Harris, I'm riding McDonald's down. Hope it hits that 298. Me too. I actually just got stopped here at entry. So now that I'm stopped out and not in it, it will probably go to that 298 for you. So if that happens, you're welcome in advance. And then the other thing is we'll see here, because let me go back to that and we'll give the visual aid on this. The better trade here, the longer lasting one, is what happens when it gets out of this range. I'm basically trying to play the range as like a first bite, an appetizer, if you will. But let's see what happens if it actually breaks out or down from this range. That'll probably be the easier, bigger trade, I would imagine.
Getting asked about MXL. Any thought? Well, it looks like they have earnings after the close today. They're losing money every quarter, but they do have a lot of cash on the balance sheet. Let's take a look here. Short interest it's okay. It's like 7%, 4 days to cover. Don't know if I'm really excited about that. They didn't do any reverse splits. They did a secondary offering in 2020. Semiconductors company. I don't know. Kind of feels like, well, have they been running into earnings or falling? Oh, they've been falling into earnings. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this has a good enough earnings to where it lifts it back up towards the 200-day SMA, which I have at about $18. That would be my thought. I think it's really going to depend on how they guide. But maybe this is one of these names that they just haven't gotten a lot of attention. I don't even know what they do. Radio frequency and mixed signal integrated circuits for cable and satellite broadband communications. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't. It seems like fiber optics is hotter than that right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Real quickly, OKLO, this ramping again. These nuclear stocks that we've talked about, there's going to be more of this. So at least keeping these on your watch list and checking in on them makes a lot of sense. And here we go. Jay Harris. It just came back in, stopped me out at VWAP and is bouncing. You'll just love to see that. Love to see the group get it. LRHC, let's check in on that. And then TVGN. LRHC still consolidating up here. TVGN also consolidating up here. Nice job on this, folks.
You folks are doing great today.
Yeah, it's been all week. Oh, Wiss, dude. 58 cents to $1.35. Wiss, let's go, dude.
Chara mentioning Fannie. This was a penny stock we were looking at yesterday too, I believe.
Yeah, that was moving. Lynn and Randy actually had mentioned that this should have been on your watch list here for today, just on relative volume. And lo and behold, it looks like that's working here. A bounce off that 40 cents. We did retake the VWAP. See if we go higher here on FAMI, ticker FAMI.
I wonder how much it cost them to get that minimum bid price extension.
You know, we were hearing that the NASDAQ was kind of not charging people in some cases. I wonder if it's kind of a pick and choose type deal there.
I wonder what would be the reason for that. The only thing that I can think of is why these real junky names continue to be on NASDAQ, because they're paying for an extension.
Or the fees, because if they're so low price, they trade so many shares, the commissions off the shares traded got to be worth it there for the market maker anyway. Yorkie, look at this. Yorkie Lab profit 84 to 133. Bring that register. I love that you guys are just collecting money and then enjoying your day. That is going to help you live to be 100.
Lunar getting some more upside movement, got as high as 873, pulling back a little bit, but still within a green candle here. Very slow moving because of how big the float is. Let me remind you of that size. That is, they reverse split, didn't they? It used to be over 300, right?
Which, sorry.
Lumen? Or was this, wait, I'm sorry, I typed the wrong one. I went to put Lumen.
Okay.
And I brought up Lunar.
I was going to say, I'm a tad confused here. Lion, what happened with McDonald's? E. coli breakout in the Mountain West region, 49 reported cases, 10 different states. That dropped it in the after hours here. That's what's going on with McDonald's. So Lumen, now that I have the right ticker, this seems to be setting up to push above 630, which was 631 was the intraday high, but this is setting up like a bull flag. Getting wicks on the bottom, which is what you want to see. Just need to recapture that VWAP and then push above the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I think that's going to give us the breakout we need for Lumen. Just be careful with this one. Float is 733 million shares. That's what I was looking for. There you go.
All right, let's see here. What else? Just kind of taking a look. Looks like BRAX has kind of been a big old nothing this morning, but it may end up coming back later. A lot of these do end up doing that, but probably not until it gets closer to the 230s. LRN still trying to get back above VWAP.
OKLO going again.
Line saying McDonald's will drop more when they report earnings. Do you think that some damage control commentary is going to get them in trouble?
You know, I think that their marketing department is actually pretty good. I would imagine that they spin this pretty well. The thing that I'm kind of on the same page as Dennis, the thing that's really going to cause McDonald's to drop more is if you get more cases from a different area, whether it's a different area of the United States or a different country altogether, that will get McDonald's smoked.
Gotcha. All right, TVGN pushing up some more. Looks like it's going to try and go for, well, it's trying to get back over that 250 again.
Yeah,
that's been the big spot to get over.
Let me ask you, did this hit your VWAP at all? I know this is above my VWAP, but sometimes we've had these where these have been different. Is this maybe a case? Let me pull it up in my other broker here and see. Yeah, it didn't quite get there in my other one either. Let me check the prop real quick. TVGN. No, yeah. So it never really hit the VWAP, just pulled back towards it, but never really hit it here.
Yeah, on the past, so I'm on a 5-minute chart, and not this current candle, but the past 2 candles, it was getting VWAP support. So
cut.
And we may need some more time with this one as it's. I'm not sure if we're going to look at this yet as it rolling over. Maybe it's just going to consolidate for a little bit, but losing VWAP would be, where that would be an indicator that this may not be working out. So that would be an exit. Because we've already tested VWAP twice and got support from that. So I think if we start to close underneath it, that would be an indication that the trade needs more time to set up.
And here we go. Jay Harris, dude. Let's see if we can get above 296. I think the next spot might be that 298 for you. Remember, this was the consolidation area here, going back to yesterday's after hours. So pop in there. We'll see if we can get above that 296, your next spot to take a look at there.
All right. Lots of the names we were talking about starting to roll over. Looks like Lumen's still trying to push up over VWAP. I'm going to go back to Lunar since that was looking pretty good this morning, and I accidentally looked at it. Okay, so that popped all the way up to about 874 and came back in. We're trying to hold above 860.
LRHC, real good call here. LRHC took the next leg up here into that halt. 148, your halt price there, LRHC.
Lunar keeps getting hit back at 870. It's probably going to be bouncing back and forth until we get the actual, news we're waiting for, the contract.
Great job, Anthony. I tell you what, our group here is making money early and often, and then going to enjoy life. You absolutely love to see that here. You absolutely love to see that here. Okay, McDonald's trading back up towards that 296. Jay Harris, you're going to have to keep me posted. You're going to have to keep me posted on what's happening because it is that time. It is Wednesday, and it is right about to be 10 o'clock. So that means we're going to bring on our special guest. All right. It is Wednesday, which means it's Tim Melvin Day. Tim, how are you doing, my man?
Well, we're just we're living a dream down here in Southwest Florida. The storms all seem to have gone somewhere else. So we're happy about that. Got up to the Money Show in Orlando this past weekend, Ryan, and met with a lot of old friends, gave a presentation on REITs and infrastructure, had a delightful time.
Okay, so it sounds like you were in your element. The one question I have is, did you have any McDonald's recently? Because that seems to be the hot topic of the day.
I absolutely cannot believe that a 10-minute soundbite by a presidential candidate, some version of with, I'm pretty sure George Washington hit the stump and served like some sausages or something at a tavern back in the day. There's not a presidential candidate ever in history that has not done something exactly like that. But now this has become like this watershed illuminating event. And I cannot believe it. But that's politics. That's politics.
But you did hear about the E. coli breakout yesterday, right?
I did not hear about the E. coli.
So that's what's actually going on here. 10 states, 49 different reported cases here in McDonald's. The big thing, and Tim, I know you're more of a long-term guy here. The big thing here, though, is that the huge reaction to McDonald's brought it down. 282, your low print here. We're 13 points up off that. So I'm glad that you're not sick. I'm glad that you've got no E. coli fears going on. Let me ask you.
I bet you I haven't eaten at a McDonald's in 10 years.
Okay. That's kind of what I was getting at. I'm not surprised to hear that. Now, moving on to some of the treats, Tim, what did you bring us here today?
Well, you set me up with the McDonald's one because this morning, of course, the dogs get up around 5 o'clock here now. So I guess if the dogs are up, we're all up. So, yeah, you got to walk the dogs, come back. And being me, I read a couple of academic studies on trading and investing that popped up in my email inbox. One of them from Quantocracy, great website that you should be checking out.
I'm sorry, did you say Quantocracy?
Quantocracy.
Quant. Oh, I like that even more.
Yes. They did a thing on trading gaps. And so they did a nice study of all the S&P 500 companies, and they said, what happens if we just buy the gap and then sell at the open the next day? You had about a 55% winner. Now, everybody loves gaps, right? You trade the gap, going to fill the gap. Well, you had about a 55% win rate, but your losers were bigger than your winners. So you actually had a negative expectation to the gap trade. So they dug a little bit deeper. And what they found is there's actually a way to make this pretty profitable. And that is you're going to only trade 10 stocks at a time. Okay, so how are we going to pick? There's way more than 10 stocks gap in a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gapping down, has to be above the 200-day moving average. And you only buy the 10 least volatile stocks.
Okay.
So use, whatever you're going to use, average true range volatility, standard deviation, the 10 least volatile stocks, which certainly McDonald's would have qualified for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you would be long McDonald's and holding for tomorrow morning's close from that gap down this morning. So you're going to use a limit order to prevent slippage. You'd rather miss a trade than get caught with slippage of a market order in a gap situation. Because we've all seen gaps where they gap down, say 2 or 3 points. By the time your market order hits, it's up a point. You don't want that one. Okay.
Fair enough.
You use limit order just a little bit above the gap. So very rules based. And again, you did not improve at all over the 55% win rate. Okay. Which, by the way, this is just an aside. If somebody walks up and tells you they've got a 90%, 95% win rate in the stock market trade, and with trades, punch them in the face and walk away.
Why is that?
Because it's impossible. It can't be done and maintained.
Okay.
Okay. And that's 40 years of experience and lots of academic research. The only way you can have that kind of win rate is in selling options. Okay. And by the way, you can have a 90% win rate, but that 10% hurts.
Yeah, no question. And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Jay Harris, we did it, fam. We did it. 298, baby. Ring that register. Let me know. Let's go. All right. And back to your program.
Not sure what happened there, but okay.
I said that McDonald's was probably going to go to 298 here on the trade, and we just printed it, and Jay Harris just made some money. Let's go.
Oh, that is outstanding. So
yes.
Anyway, the least volatile 10 stocks as a gap trading strategy actually works. It has a nice positive expectation, about a 22% annual rate of return, which is pretty good. You're going to do a lot of trades, all right? Because most days you're going to trade 10 stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, do the math. You're going to do 2,000 trades a year. So you do have to be careful with the limit, the slippage. You have to be very disciplined about your exit, but it is a winning strategy using S&P 500 stocks, again, above the 200-day moving average, and 10 least volatile is a setup that actually works. So anyway, happened to read that this morning, so I thought I'd share it with you guys, because when I see something kind of cool like that, I like to share it with the folks here in the room.
Love it.
Now, this week is a big birthday week for all of you that like to play the Economics Geek Out game. It is the 80th birthday of the Bretton Woods Agreement.
I'm familiar with that one.
Bretton Woods Agreement is the deal we did right after World War II with the 44 surviving allied nations of the world. And we reset the monetary system with the U.S. dollar. At the time, convertible into gold was a mandatory part of the original Bretton Woods. Clearly, we modified that in 1971. But this was the agreement that framed the world in the terms of the U.S. dollar as the dominant currency. Now, we're going to hear a lot of noise about Bretton Woods this week. Those of us that are economics geeks, all right? Because this is the International Monetary Fund meeting in Washington, D.C. So all of the wonks, geeks, politicos, and global bankers are in there, and every smaller country or country that doesn't like us is going to be yelling about the need to remake the global financial system without the U.S. dollar as the standard and strength. Good luck to them. It literally cannot be done at this point in time, but there's going to be a lot of noise in and out of Washington, D.C. about currencies in the markets. And the big thing that everybody needs to be watching right now, if you're in the stock market, obviously stocks are down today. The Boeing report had a little bit. I'm sure the McDonald's E. coli report, which I totally missed, play into that. The real problem is, have you seen what's going on in the bond market? Bonds have been going up. I mean, bond yields have been going up as bond prices are coming down again. Now, that defies logic, right? The Fed is cutting interest rates. They've said they're going to cut interest rates by 200 to 250 basis points over the next couple of years. That should be showing a supportive bid in the bond market with yields coming down. On the longer end, they in fact are not coming down. The bond market is telling you a couple things here that if you're a stock investor, you need to be paying attention to. They are telling you they are really worried about inflation.
Okay.
It's under control for now. It's down, but guys, it ain't 2% yet. Right? Remember, that's the
target. Yep.
We're still up much closer to 3 than we are 2. And a bunch of that 3 is a huge, huge assist from global energy markets, which have been weak. Supply demand concerns, Chinese weakness, all of that factors into it. But there's potential big curveballs out of Ukraine and, of course, Israel, Iran. That really makes things more interesting than we want them to be. And then there's the fact that grains and food have been in a multi-year downtrend. And if they reverse, that's going to put upward pressure on prices. Now, I did talk to some guys that are big players in the bond market in Orlando this weekend. And what they've said point blank is when you talk to people at global financial institutions, active big traders in the global macro guys, the big funds in the bond market, they're really concerned because neither of the presidential candidates has a plan to do anything about fiscal responsibility. And we're already slated to run they say 1 to 2 trillion a year deficit. You always take the over on that bet when
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at a scenario where the debt could be 50 trillion by 2030. And that the bond market's starting to worry about that, and it's showing up in higher yields. If that continues, it's a problem for stocks.
Okay.
Now, I did bring more presents, guys. I would never just leave you on a downer like that. So, Nancy Lazar, the economist at Piper Sandler, for my money, the single best near Wall Street firm economist in the country, bar none. Before she was with Piper, she ran her own shop, Cornerstone Macro. I've known them for years. They spot on, excellent work. All economists, like all stock, predictors, we're all wrong once in a while, but she's not wrong much. So,
okay, shout out.
She made some interesting comments. She's like, look, we all know that 40% of the Russell 2000 is cash flow negative, right? That headline's been beat into us, for some time over the last year. There's a lot of junk out there in small cap land. And what Nancy said was, you know what? It's probably going to get worse because small cap companies, even the good companies, right? The decent companies, they have a problem. One, interest costs going higher. And, you tend to have a certain, amount of debt in any business. So the cost of interest is going higher. But where they're really starting to run into a problem is in attracting and keeping talent. The cost of that talent is going up. We see these jobs numbers and there's still wage pressure in there. And you can argue all you want about, well, they backed out 42 million jobs or, whatever number we're going to use, over 800,000 jobs we took out. Of the last several years' jobs reports. What you can't do away with is that wage pressure because that's been steady. It hasn't stopped. And for talent and skill positions, it's even higher. So the smaller companies, now you have a problem keeping up. So your interest costs are going up. Your compensation costs are going up. That's putting additional pressure on the bottom line. Business more than ever is bifurcated, right? It's a matter of scale. Larger companies have a much easier time spreading costs across a wider base of assets and revenues than smaller companies. So business, much like, and we've dealt with this in banking for a while now, becomes a matter of scale. So that's bad news, but the bad news is good news. Because what's going to happen is the smaller profitable companies that are decent businesses, they're going to sell. Okay. So we're going to have a lot of M&A activity, probably a lot more under a Trump administration than under a Harris administration. But even a Harris administration is going to be a giant leap up over the bozos that the Biden administration has had in charge of the Justice Department and the FTC overlooking mergers and acquisition activity. So no matter who wins, look for an M&A wave coming up because these small companies have to gain scale. So who are they going to buy? I have some thoughts on that, Ryan.
Okay, great. I was hoping that you would, Tim. I was hoping that you would.
Okay. Looking at Fonar Corporation. This is FONAR. The symbol's FONR. Fonar Corporation. Well, they make MRI machines, but they not only make them, they invented them many years ago. They hold a lot of the original patents. They do the upright MRI machine where you can sit upright because some people, including yours truly, I hate laying in that damn thing.
Everyone I talk to says the same thing, Tim. They hate it.
I just close my eyes. I won't open my eyes inside one. What they've got one where you can sit up and it's an open MRI concept. They've got one where the whole operating room is basically an MRI machine. Yeah. So, and they run some MRI centers. And Well, if I was going to run MRI centers, I'd want them in Florida because we're all old, and that's where they have a bunch of them. The founder, who controls 99% of the company through a special class of stock, he died in 2022. His son is now overseeing the trust. His son ran a medical products company on his own, eventually sold it for big profits to a larger company. This company, they're cash flow positive. They got lots of cash on the balance sheet. It's a good company. They're not the biggest player in the industry. That's Siemens, GE, Philips, Canon, a whole bunch of others that are much bigger than Fonar. But Fonar's patent portfolio is probably worth the price of the stock to one of these bigger companies. So you've got the company now controlled by a family trust. The person in charge of it has built and sold medical product companies before. And he's got the deciding vote on everything by a huge margin. So I don't think he wants to stay and run it. He is going to be subject to the same talent squeeze factor. Because look, General Electric or Philips, they can get the very best engineers, the very best technology guys, and they can pay them far more than Fonar can pay them in order to continue to develop new cutting edge products in MRI and imaging.
It seems like possible brain drain there.
Brain drain is going to be a problem. They've got the patents. The other guys have the cash. So I think we might see a marriage.
That makes a lot of sense there. Okay. FONI.
Okay. Right. And the stock is trading at a very low multiple of free cash flow. It trades for less than asset value. I mean, you could be looking at 50 to 100% in gains if this thing gets sold. Wow. And I think it gets sold sometime before terribly much longer. Okay. Next up, another medical products. I'm on a medical roll here today. And it's not that I'm particularly fond of medical products. Did you ever see the Danny DeVito movie? And I forget the name of the Other People's Money.
Other People's Money?
Yeah. Okay. Where he talks about, do you remember? I don't remember the name of the computer program, but I think it was Rose. Yeah. He talks to Rose every morning, and Rose spits out a list of companies that he should look at based on a formula. Our formula is actually pretty similar to that formula. If you've never seen the money, Danny DeVito, during a presentation, turns around and he writes the formula he uses on the computer on the screen. He uses a real formula taken from Ben Graham and Walter Schloss's original work. That is the formula for net current asset investing. So pretty cool. But anyway, so I put all my numbers into the computer. It spits names out at me, and it's spitting out a lot of medical product companies right now. But OraSure is OSUR. They do rapid diagnostic testing for infectious diseases, for DNA and genetic testing, for drug testing. They have some patents, again, on different technologies for collecting and stabilizing samples once they're taken. Great business, cash flow positive, generating a lot of cash, great balance sheet. Fundamentals of the business are solid. It's a fairly small company. And again, it's trading for less than 4 times cash flow here. Again, there's at least 25 companies that I wouldn't even have to work to think of that could make a better go of this business that is constrained by size limitations. This product line inside a larger company would be much more profitable than it currently is on a standalone basis. So again, another company, it's profitable. Even if it doesn't get taken over, it's worth a lot more than the current stock price just based on the balance sheet and the cash flow and the profits. But I have a suspicion that down the road, this is a pretty strong takeover candidate. And by the way, they did COVID testings too. So if you see the spike up in the chart, it's because they had COVID tests, and everybody was taking 19 of them a day, and then we came back down to reality, and that part of the business leveled off a bit.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that because this was the opposite spike in that 2020 COVID year. Okay, you got another one for us, and then I actually have to, go ahead, go get in there.
OSUR. They have earnings in 14 days. Are you expecting anything? Is that going to be a catalyst you're looking at for them?
Okay, remember how I didn't pay any attention to the McDonald's E. coli thing?
Yeah.
That's about how much attention I pay to quarterly earnings too.
All right.
I mean, generally, and I don't mean to be facetious about that, folks, but I do read them and I will review them. But trading them in the moment tends to be a bit of a sucker's game. So getting caught up into the quarterly earnings flow, I'll catch up on them on the weekend. I don't make any predictions about how accurate the guess of some other person about the earnings over a 3-month period are going to be, because from my point of view as a long-term investor, it doesn't do me any good.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, there you go.
You got another one for us, and then I have a question for you before we get you out of here.
Okay, I do, and it's a bank, because you don't get to get away from me in a discussion about small banks and takeover activity without a bank coming up. This bank is the textbook, right? If I was going to write a textbook, and I should actually, on thrift conversion investing, the poster child would be William Penn Bancorp of Levittown, New Jersey. William Penn, WMPN. I'm sorry, that might be actually Levittown, Pennsylvania. But the bank is located 13 branches between Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Trenton, New Jersey, with a couple south into the South Jersey area. They did a thrift conversion, second step completed in March of 2021. This is where a thrift institution converts to a stockholder institution. It is a value creation event when it happens. And we're not going to get into that today because it's a 20-minute discussion and we don't have time. When you do one of these deals, the value of your bank goes up. The price only goes up a fraction, 50 to 70% of the amount of value created. So it's an opportunity for patient investors to step in here. Now, there is a 1-year restriction on buybacks and stock buybacks and stock and dividends. And there's a 3-year restriction on change of control that factors in here. William Penn did a thrift conversion, bought in a ton of cash on the offering. They've used the cash the minute the 1-year restriction was up, they announced 10% buybacks. They fill them in, announce another, fill them in, announce another. They've already retired about half of the stock that they issued in the thrift conversion event. They're that active in the buyback market. So tons of buybacks, lots of capital still left. This bank's equity to assets ratio is about 60% higher than the national average. That's after spending all that cash on stock buybacks. They also, the loan portfolio, they have a 0.35% non-performing assets ratio. It's primarily single family mortgages, but they do have a kind of robust local commercial real estate business. Now, commercial real estate, I know, is right up there with every other bad word we all know. But the truth of the matter is local commercial real estate, gas stations, restaurants, strip malls, 2-story office plazas, that's all paid as agreed. There's no problems there. It's those downtown office towers. They're not doing any office towers in Philly. There are none to speak of in Trenton. So that's not their line of business, right? They're doing business loans, commercial real estate for local businesses. So no problems in the loan portfolio whatsoever. Excellent credit, still aggressively buying back stock. The profits look terrible. I don't care, because the last thing you evaluate these things on is price to earnings ratio. They just, anyway, look, if you blow up the world tomorrow, one of the few things left standing are going to be cockroaches, Keith Richards, and William Penn Bancorp.
Keith Richards. Okay.
Okay. So, and I'm just as an aside, and we can maybe do a webinar on this someday or something. Thrift conversion investing is ridiculously profitable, but it's really boring. Okay, you will sit there and you can own it for 2, 3, 4 years, and then it gets taken over and doubles your money.
That makes sense to me, because the stock market is a mechanism to move money from the impatient to the patient. The impatient to the patient. So a boring trade like that, I'm not surprised to hear that. Tim, real quick, I have a question here from one of the viewers. If you could mind fielding it real quick.
We'll go.
Please ask Tim about ticker DKL, Delic Logistics, MLP oil stock with near 11% dividend and beat up a bit. It seems like Tim's kind of stock. DLK, you got any thoughts on that before we get you out of here?
DLK is the symbol?
Excuse me, DKL. My fault. DKL.
Okay. Yeah, DKL Logistics, and they just did a public offering, so that's kind of weighing on the stock a little bit. Let's just see, because they've got somebody owns control. Yes, Delic Holdings owns control of this. And the interesting thing is Delek Logistics consists of most of the market value, or it did a year ago, of Delek Holdings. It is a collection of logistics and marketing assets. So gathering and transporting, wholesaling, terminaling, pipelines. And, look, there's always money in the midstream, right? You've got insider buying of decent numbers.
I was going to say some insider buying there too from the C-suite.
Yeah, from the C-suite. So yeah, the big thing here is they did a public offering. Right now, the market is not a big fan of doing public offerings. And let's just go back through and see any other. We really haven't looked at this one in a while, because just being upfront, and I own almost all of the MLP market. Okay. But I own it through closed-end funds.
Okay.
Right. Because everybody hates a 10K. And I don't mind them as much as most, because I don't do my own taxes anymore. But everybody hates it. A K1, right? They're pains. But when you buy, say, Tortoise Energy, TTP, or you buy Kane Anderson, KYN, these are closed-end funds that invest in the midstream energy market. So you get all the dividends because it's a pass-through. So you're still getting that 8%, 9% dividend yield. However, under the magic of 1940 Investment Act accounting, all of that lovely partnership income that is collected by the closed-end fund is converted to 1099 income. So you no longer have to deal with a K1. You're going to get a very timely 1099 filed. You just add it to the regular dividend section of your tax return and move on. There's no waiting for the K1 or the amended K1 or any of the other hassles that can go along with that. So I haven't followed it closely on an individual basis. The only individual ones I think I own at this point are Energy Transfer, which I'll simply never sell. And we have some enterprise products in one account. But most of them, I go the closed-end fund route because I can buy all of them at one time. And it doesn't matter what our energy policy is or who's president. We're going to use a lot of natural gas. We're going to use a lot of crude oil. And it's all going to flow through the terminals. It's going to flow through the pipelines, the gathering, the processing centers. And every gallon is going to pay a fee to the operator of that. And after expenses, we get it back in our pocket.
Tim, do you have any angle on hydrogen as an upcoming energy play, and using the midstream pipelines to transport that?
No need. It ain't going to work.
What do you got instead?
Hydrogen's not going to work.
Hydrogen's not going to work. So that's something that people are putting too much stock into?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Hydrogen, you need electricity to make hydrogen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you generate the electricity?
Oh,
you're using carbon fuel to generate electricity to make hydrogen, or they're trying to use renewable energy to make hydrogen. It's not really, from a cost basis, it doesn't look like it's going to be effective enough for widespread use. We are seeing some limited light industrial use. Is this going to be flowing through a gazillion miles of pipeline anytime soon? No, I don't believe it is.
Great to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. No worries.
Awesome stuff, Tim. Got to get you out of here. I know you kind of floated the idea of maybe a webinar on some of this stuff in the future. I'm all for that. Let's get that planned here. I think we're already kind of working on that. So really good stuff.
Yeah, I think we've got the groundwork on that. You and I actually have a call later this week, if I'm not mistaken, to go over some of this, get some of this stuff in the works. So, guys, have a fantastic rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend when it finally gets here, and we'll see you again next Wednesday.
Sounds good. Tim, thanks so much. Really appreciate all of your expertise, and we will see you next week. That is Tim Melvin. There you go. What was that? There is no try. No, I'm getting your name. Thinking about it. I think it was Thinking About It. Yes, Thinking About It. There you go. Thinking About It. Hopefully that answers your question. I know we had a little bit longer of a session there, but like I said, there's some real good stuff coming here, so stay tuned. In the there was a lot of really awesome trading going on, wasn't there? Jay here. Yeah.
If you want to take a look at the SPY, we're getting that same price action yesterday where we were testing that previous all-time high, 580.33, before we reversed. They were right back down in that same area. Watch for SPY to try and turn around here and take us back up. And if we do end up coming back up, this is where that 582.30 level is going to come into play. So watch for a reversal here and see if we get that on the SPY.
Okay. Real good stuff there. I noticed that there was a lot of trades going on as well. Was it LRHC that has been ripping TVGN? How many of you guys are just absolutely printing on TVGN today? Multiple leg up moves here in the regular session. This thing's absolutely flying.
Yeah, TVGM is really good. MACD is looking like it's starting to curl over, so be careful here. I don't know if we're going to be able to hold VWAP with this particular price action we're getting, but if we can continue to hold 265, there may be some more upside in store, but I think that's the level to watch for to see if we continue to go up or not.
Okay, McDonald's 299. I think 300 is coming here long on another potential trade here. Really good stuff here this morning, folks. Save pulling back to the VWAP. Let's take a look at the fun basket. That's what I'm going to call it, PHUN. That's going to also include DJT and then Rumble. Looks like DJT so far. DJT performing the best there. Rumble actually leading the way down. Okay.
Yeah, had a pop all the way up to 157 in SGMO. That coming back down and about to test VWAP pretty soon.
SGMO. Oh, and then real quick, just as a recap, I'm trying to do this more often. For any of you that wanted to get the 3 tickers that Tim gave out here today, in fact, I'll throw them in the chat as well. It was going to be FONR, OSUR, and WMPN. All of these potential M&A targets. Here you go. Those are in the chat. 13. I'm going to step away for 1 sec. BRB.
Sounds good. Also looking at some of the news from the SPY. Thank you, Carmen, for making me Shannon, for making me take a look at this. SPY U.S. existing home sales for September. That was almost within line of expectations. 3.84 million versus 3.88 estimated. 3.88 prior. So a little bit lighter on the existing home sales. Home sales month for month for September down 1% versus 2% prior. So as soon as that print came out, that's what helped us pull the SPY down some more. And now we're getting some support down around the 580, around the previous all-time high of 580.33. So we're just waiting to see if we're going to start to move off this level or not. And what else are we looking at here, folks? BIVI going. Let's take a look at that. BIVI. All right, so this actually is trying to get over the I'm going to just say 413 level. We could say 415 if we want, but all morning it has been trying to recapture that level above the somewhere between 410 and 415. It's been getting these upper shadows here telling us that, hey, this is going down out of the open. That's what we got. Now we're back up here trying to push through it again. Let's see if we can get above 420 on this. That seems to be where it kept getting resistance, but just no closes over the 415 level. Looking like we're trying to push up here. And here we go. Starting to get that that volume increase. We're going to take out 420 here. This is where it would have to take off. And then if we do get this breakout, the pre-market high is 476. There we are over 420. More walls in the way. First one being at 428. But 476 is the pre-market high that clearly the buyers want this thing to go up to. What about liquid ammonia? For what? Is this something that I mean? Do you have a ticker? Daniel asking, hey, 13, how do you deduce to buy a stock like TVGN only 3 candles into the opening? So TVGN, when I was looking at it, I was looking at the price action we were getting this morning. Actually, I didn't decide to buy it, 3 candles in. I guess if you're, I don't know what time frame you're referring to. I'm on the 5-minute chart, but it looked like it was getting some decent support from the 185 area, and when it didn't come back down to that area, I thought that it looked pretty good. Now, as far as an upside target goes, I had some levels where I was looking at like about 250 and 277. That was from a previous high and from a EMA. And I got those, but I was out before this this last move up here that almost hit 3. So, and we could end up going higher still, but my whole trade is done because of the levels I was looking at, and I just executed my plan, and I got out right around the 270 area, and that was it for me. So whatever else it does now, that's fine. I only made the decision to get in it because it was looking like the volume was good. It wasn't breaking down, and I had some upside targets that look pretty good as well. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. And Ryan, you are.
Yeah, I'm on mute. I'm over here laughing, trying to read comments while I'm on mute. LOL. Jay Harris saying, Ryan, thanks again for McDonald's and eat more chicken. LOL on the eat more chicken comment. You're welcome. Glad you were printing here today. That worked out. That sure worked out. McDonald's actually continuing to move higher here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me bring it up on screen. By the way, Bivy there, great call, 13. That popped above 440 on that move. Here we go on McDonald's. Let's see if we get 300 prints on that.
TVGN also is trying to move back up again, but you can see that from the volume that it's looking a little weak. And, we do have some sellers in the way, starting at 286. Lots of big ones at 290. So we need to see that volume expand some more in order to get through those. But looking like TVGN isn't quite finished yet. So we'll see if we get enough volume to break through 297 and up into the 3 handle.
Okay. There you go. You're getting a question about save here as well. Boy, you just lined up the questions for I go to the bathroom and it becomes a shooting range for questions here. Here we go. Save. What do you think on save? This, I mean, I'll let you go ahead and answer.
Well, so it's short squeezing. That's about the best I can say about the price action we're getting. Yes, the merger discussion with Frontier is good news. It provides a lot of hope, but there's nothing definitive there yet. So this is all on, I guess I would say this is on hope that this is going to go, get merged with Frontier. But I think the news is just being driven. It's causing the short interest to drive this up. So you've got the news catalyst. People are on this now. It's squeezing out shorts. That's why you're getting this price action. But this, for me, I would want to wait until there's a little bit more definitive news with this merger. But if you feel like this is going to be something that ends up, happening and the merger gets accepted and goes through, you could probably see a really good spot right here. I don't know what even they're going to want this at. I'd have to think maybe tangible book value would be the first place to look. I think that's somewhere around 6 for save. So there's one potential target you could have, and if you're going to jump into this for the merger. But for me, I think that you're just setting yourself up for a lot of risk if you don't have more of a more definitive answer on what's going on with this merger between Frontier and Save. And once you do, I think that'll give you a better idea when to trade this, when to jump in it, and when to take profit.
I think that's really good there. Save also, remember, this is very high float, so in terms of trading here, it's likely not going to get some of the moves. 13, it sounds like your investment thesis there for Save is very similar to your actually using Save as a potential airline there. Just be careful. Also, by the way, the original trade plan that we were looking for here on McDonald's using this pre-market range, we wanted to see it either break down or break out, and ideally we would have liked a back test of that level. Well, while that was happening, look what we got here. So not only did we get that move to 298 that Jay Harris cashed out on, but we actually went above, back tested that area. Boom, there's your entry trigger. Higher we go here. So the another trade put on here for McDonald's. Again, stop here at even. We're not going to give any of the gains back that we've had here on McDonald's. So this has been good for us this morning. Long here again. Let's see if we can go print 300 on McDonald's.
TVGN
stop on this one, by the way, 298 flat. Yeah, go ahead.
TVGN, it's putting in some green candles, but they don't look particularly great. Now, if we continue to push up and get back over 3, that's great. We have this 290 wall that we're chewing at right now. Maybe we are getting this volume expansion that we needed to see in order to go back up. So there's something to watch for with TVGN, or even trade if you're ready to go with this one. But keep this in mind. That volume needs to continue to expand. We need to chew through these levels, and there's a lot of sellers between $2.90 and $3 to get through. So be careful.
Upwork, we talked about this one a little bit earlier here. Okay, Upwork moving up on guidance, revenue guidance above estimates here. We took another leg out of the open, paired some of those gains back, and are now using the VWAP as resistance. Watch this for a potential break above VWAP, especially if you get that with the expanding volume. Could have another trade opportunity here.
Man, TVGN is just really getting a lot of action now. Oh, and they just brought in a huge ask. Yeah, I think this is one you have to really be careful with. It looks like people are trying to get out of it or push it down.
Okay. Stay focused. Good morning, boss. Shouted out your unreal McDonald's call yesterday in the happy hour session. Wolf, thoughts? Isn't Wolf making a double top here? Yeah. So so first of all, for the chart, does look like we found a bottom here. We kind of curled off that bottom. The volume, the increase in volume this year, especially recently, encouraging. Definitely at a spot here, though. Are we going to be able to break and maybe break out from this? Would love to see that here. Or are we going to break back down? TerraWolf, this was one of the Bitcoin, right? Digital asset technology company that's engaged in digital infrastructure and sustainable energy environment. So yeah, this is one of the Bitcoin plays. We traded this one, I feel like, recently, did we not? Let me take a look here. Yeah, we
did.
Yeah, we did. We've been trading this recently. There have been a number of folks in this chat that have been on this here for Wolf. Let's see if we can help out our boy Stay Focused. And if anyone else has anything on Wolf. I haven't traded this today or this week, so I have no firsthand knowledge of this, I'm afraid. Pretty awesome chart, though. And again, like, I'd really like to see a breakout here right at this spot. 650 is a spot.
Got 13.82% short interest, but only about 2 days to cover.
So that's yeah, I wouldn't say that that's huge, but it's
something.
That's something. That's something.
But yeah, that double top, and the RSI on the daily, it says that it's 70, almost 73. That is extended, but I feel like there could be like there could be a little bit more movement, maybe up into the 80 RSI before we actually really see that that pullback. And now here's the other thing: it's so close to filling a gap. If you go look to the left from April
here it is.
2022, April 12th of 2022, 11th to the 12th, there's a gap there that gets filled from about 675 to 775. So you got about a $1 gap there. That's something to watch for. Maybe we fill that gap and then it turns around. Just a couple of potential technical things that could happen with this stock that apparently is trading pretty wildly despite the large float.
Yeah, and honestly, I said 650 here, but a closer examination, I would say 650 to 660, that range there that we really kind of need to take out, although we're trying to do that right here. TerraWolf, ticker WULF. I think actually yesterday, didn't we look at WOLF, Wolf Speed? Yeah, we did. So, okay, glad we're getting that straight here. The one we're talking about today here, WULF.
I am watching.
Sorry,
I'm watching TVGN have a absolute fight with 290 right now. The bears are really trying to keep the bulls from taking over this level. As soon as it looks like it's about to go, huge orders just come in and try to push it back down. If this does break 290, we could see a pretty wild move. So I'm still watching TVGN, but I'm tempering my expectations because of how large these that order is at 290 and how small these orders are that are trying to take it out.
Well, I might bring that up here and kind of watch that myself. 290, that is a big order there. 297, your high print in the day. Volume actually still looks good here, TVGN. Comp giving you a call here. It will fall. It will fall. You're welcome. Stay focused. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. All right. Mike, you were mentioning Costco having a really, I'll tell you what, I might never sell this stock again, to be quite honest with you. It literally is my favorite. I love this store. Can't wait to go on Saturday. I missed it last week as I was traveling. My favorite store, having a really good day. Giddy up. Let's keep going. Let's keep going here.
Oh, they're still chewing away at 290 some more on TVGN. Hasn't fallen yet, but the share size has been diminished a bit. Getting asked, hey, you guys got anything in Palantir? I'm holding big contracts. Ends 25th at 42.5 puts.
Okay, I'll start here real quick because I'll be very, very short. As far as Palantir goes, I am bullish. I am in the bullish category. And as far as the position goes, remember, I am long a butterfly here that expires in December with 45 at the body. So I'm looking for a $45 move, I'm looking for $45 on PLTR by December. We're almost there. It actually looks like we're kind of going to test this recent high here. This thing has been on an absolute ripper. So it sounds to me like you have puts here. You're probably looking for a regression back to the mean. You will likely get that at some point. I can't tell you when. The stock was recently added to the S&P 500. So that really kind of lit this. We've been trading this to the long side since the high 20s, just to kind of give you an idea of where the group's at on this one. So 13, what do you got for him?
45 is the big level in question for me. That goes back to the that high that it put in January of 2021. That's where we get that from. We have not been up here since then. Until now, and I want to see 45 get taken out. That would give me more confidence that we could that we're going to be going higher. The alternative is that we don't break out of 45 and we start to create a cup with handle where we get some regression down to maybe even the 50-day SMA over maybe a month or so, and then it comes back up on the next visit and breaks through 45. So those are a couple of scenarios that I'm waiting to see happen. Which one it's going to be, but I want to see it get up to 45 first and see what it does up there.
And as far as that 50-day, like the handle formation that you were discussing there in terms of the 50-day moving average, that's at 36.5 just about. So to answer your question directly, could you see this kind of coming back in? I think is what you were asking, right? Because you didn't sell those puts. So can you see this coming back in? Well, sure. He just gave you a situation in which that can happen. So we'll see here on Palantir. I personally am long. I am on the ask. I'm actually trying to sell that position, although with so much time until the December contract expires, it probably won't get filled this month. We'll see what happens in November.
All right.
Sydney's asking Kirkland coffee. I'll be honest. I love the Kirkland brand products. I've tried the Kirkland coffee. It's good, but this is going to be one of the few times that you're going to hear me say I'm a bit bougie when it comes to coffee because I love it. It's literally one of the best things of my day. I roll with Nespresso mostly, Sydney. I roll with Nespresso.
DJ, hey, I'm great to hear it, man. You turn a profit on TVGN. That's great. This has been a really good one this morning too. So I'm glad you caught some of that move.
Awesome. And that is an epic hair and beard right there, VJ. Well done. Well done.
And TVGN still not able to take out 290. As a matter of fact, we're headed towards 280. So, I don't want to say this thing is done because it still hasn't broken down beneath VWAP and the MACD hasn't quite rolled over yet. It's more sideways right now. So just kind of wait and see what it does. I want to see either a loss of VWAP or a breakout of 290. That's going to give us the direction it's going to go.
Folks, MCD, McDonald's. First of all, we got the exact trade plan that we have been patient about waiting for, a break out from one of the levels with the back test as the entry trigger. Higher we go, 300 prints here on McDonald's, but we also traded the range earlier here today. So really, really good stuff here on McDonald's. Jay Harris, you in again? We crushing it again? We out here just printing today. I absolutely love it. Jane Smith says, my daughter is an espresso person also. Look, when you have Nespresso for the first time and you're like, wow, the flavor is so great. And there's like this crema at the top and I didn't put syrup and sugar and crap in it. It's an eye opener. So I totally understand that.
Hey, Gary
I'm
Frost.
Fired up, 13. I am fired up today.
But Gary Frost killed it on GNPX. And I'm looking at the chart and I'm seeing some opportunities where he could have been getting in and out, and it's pretty thin. So hey, congratulations on trading a what looks to be not so easy name to trade this morning. Well done.
I love the contrarians in the chat here. I am over here putting my hands together like a seal for McDonald's, and Comp goes, the short is on. Comp's going to throw some cold water on the McDonald's party here. Short on for Comp. Comp, good luck in your trade. Also, Amanda coming in with the contrarian view. Love that sugar and syrup and crap. Cold foam. Man, Amanda, you did that escalated quickly, did it not? that escalated quickly there. Oh, good stuff here, team. Good morning. Good Wednesday morning here.
Good morning to you too. Turkish coffee is the bomb. Do I have any more coffee left? I do. And it's cold. Maverick is saying you should enjoy a
that brick killed the guy. I'm sorry. That was a choice. That was a choice comment right there.
Yeah, there's a man on fire at Trident and
Hey, Comp, don't be sorry, man. We out here having a good time. What's most important is money being made. This is what makes the market. People are going to have different opinions. No problem at all, my man.
Yeah.
Brick killed the guy. Oh, gosh.
Later, we're going to ride a furry tractor.
I'm not going to touch that one.
That's okay.
So speaking of coffee, maybe we should talk about Starbucks. We haven't even hit that yet today, have we? Starbucks, of course, reported earnings yesterday. This thing plunged on earnings, although this has come all the way back. Did this go green? Mm-hmm. Looks like this flirted with red green. Not sure it went there.
Not quite yet, but yeah.
Yeah, not quite. The most notable thing, comparable same-store sales for Starbucks in China down 14%. That's a big number. I think it was down like 6 or 8% in the United States. Shannon, take care of yourself. Thanks for all your support. We'll see you here. We'll see you around the bend the next time you're here. Have a great rest of your day, Shannon. Starbucks, though, I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised to see this back here at about flat.
You want me to tell you a couple of things about why I think this is happening? So, we had the new CEO, right?
Yep, the guy from Chipotle.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, these same-store sales are bad, and the suspending of guidance looks bad also. But
that's right. I didn't even mention that.
The reason they're suspending guidance because they're taking a look at the company and they're going to reassess their entire strategy. The CEO also brought in a director from Chipotle as well. So it seems like they're asking stockholders to just be patient with them. Let us reassess the business, and in the meantime, here's a 7% increase in our dividend. So they raised the dividend too to help smooth this over. So I think they're asking for some time to get this mess with their same store sales sorted out. Maybe evaluate their expansion plans. I think that that's what we're seeing here, and the fact that they're even mentioning that and taking the initiative to try and turn things around, I think that's why shareholders are rewarding them this morning.
Okay, really good stuff there. Just kind of going off of our Nespresso conversation here, I'm going to be a Starbucks bear. Although I have no position yet, I'll be looking for this to move back down. As far as a trade goes here, 13, I love my islands. I love my islands. So if we come back in here and we retest and perhaps even break this $90 spot, I think you got a potential gap fill all the way down to 78. That's double-digit points on a potential short there. Not saying take it now here, but maybe add this one to your watch list because, again, if we continue to test these levels, eventually we're going to fall through that level. Gaps like to be filled. You could also have a potential move down here, 83.5, and even the 200-day there at about 87 if that continues. So looking like that, or that's the look there on Starbucks. Really good mention there. And also, let's just check back in here real quick. Mickey D's, baby. It continues to go up here. Let's see if 301 is in the cards.
I've been asked by Amanda to get levels on E and PH. So give me a tick and I will bring that up for you.
Okay. Let me know and I will go ahead and do that. Art saying, I want to short Trump Media, DJT, who TF uses Truth Social, who's pumping it last month. So that's good. That's a good question. I don't know who actually uses it. I certainly don't use it myself. But I'm just going to say here, I want to see you lose money. So be careful because this thing doesn't trade on fundamentals and things that make sense. It instead trades on momentum and headlines. And as you can see, if you're trying to go short, you are jumping in front of a train that is going to the upside. So good luck if you take it. Be careful, though. I would not necessarily, unless you have like a really long-term view and you can stomach some of that volatility, I would not necessarily watch or think about, well, who uses this? That means the stock's going to go down. This thing seems to have a mind of its own. Just my 2 cents on that. No position for me, by the way, on DJT. We've had other stuff to trade here today.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
But there you go. Now, do you want me to bring up EMPH here?
We can. I'm still trying to figure out some levels here, but I can, whoops, that's the wrong button. I can, go over just a little bit of what I'm seeing here. This one I actually had, some drawings already on here because of the broadening wedge that is happening here with the price action going back to 2020. We've been kind of oscillating back and forth, and it's created this wedge that gets wider and wider. We tested the bottom of that wedge back in looks like November or October, toward the end of October of 2023, and moved up and went sideways. Now we're at risk of testing that bottom of the wedge again, and that would be, it could be as early as $62. But first things first, it needs to break down beneath the low that it put in November 13th, which was 73.44. That's going to be a support level that I see. If we, are already bottoming and we're trying to turn around here because they had earnings and it gapped down, but it's trading back up. So another thing that we could be looking for is a gap fill. And if that's the case, then from here, that gap is going to fill at 89.78. So those are a couple of levels I have on ENPH. Now, if we do get that breakdown beneath 73.44, we could be looking at sub 60 for the next bounce. So I hope that gives you a little bit of help there on that. But the earnings, that's taking it down. I don't know if we're gonna one thing that we could end up seeing happening is that the gap fills up and then we reverse and go lower. So I don't know enough about this company to tell you everything will be fine. It's going to get back up into the $100 handle and go higher. But for now, I would just be watching for that gap to fill and that particular level where we had the low from 2023.
Really good breakdown there, Carm. I hope Amanda, I hope that's what you were looking for. Thanks. I had 90 puts that I sold today for profit. Well done. Really quick here, TVGN, while we were doing that is a knife down to the VWAP. We actually lost the VWAP. We'll see if we reclaim it here. Also, just a programming note here. After 13 and I finish here in 12 minutes, we're going to have a Robinhood interview with GM of crypto from Hood, with the general manager of crypto from the Hood Summit 2024. So stay tuned for that. We're going to send him over there. We're going to send you over there. More stuff coming from us after we're off. In the meantime, though, we still got to wrap up some of these trades, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't have anything really going on. I'm just kind of watching QBTS just rip today. This thing is up 12% since the open after having a lot of sideways action since the afternoon of yesterday. This one has been a steady mover up after recapturing a dollar. I think it was last week when it did that. This thing has been really off to the races. Don't know how high it's going to go. Carmen brought this to my attention again because I had been looking at this a long time ago, but I'm glad she did because this was a really good move.
Okay. Good stuff there. Good stuff there. By the way, sorry, 13, real quick. MCD here, now that we've got some pretty awesome profits, we cross back beneath 300. We're just going to take our gain. So stop, raise now to the profit level at 300. A dip beneath that, we close that, we book those gains.
Smoke Tuna mentioning ANRO, huge sell-off, might give it a nice bounce. Well, the reason for the sell-off is because this is a biotech that reported phase 2 results, phase 2B results, and they did not meet their primary endpoints. We've seen too many of these where they meet their endpoints and their phase 2, phase 1 doesn't matter, and it just absolutely rips. This is the opposite. That clinical trial did not go well, didn't meet its primary endpoint, so they have to go backwards now, and that can be costly. Maybe I don't even know what's in the pipeline for this. Maybe this is their only drug, and now that they don't have anything that works, what is this company anymore? So I don't know enough about this company to say if that's what's happening, but I can tell you right now that the news results, you're going to get movement like this where they spent so much money developing this drug, and in phase 2 it doesn't work. That's a huge loss.
Carmen, we have your back. DDD tweeted about it. We had Stay Focused literally calling the trade live in happy hour. We had you We had you covered no matter where you were at. There you go, hamburger. I don't know what you mean by that comp, but I think what you mean is that I am now closed my trade because we did break beneath 300 on McDonald's. That's 3 successful trades here on McDonald's. We'll take that. I'd rather trade it than eat it. How about that?
There you go.
Well done.
Dwayne asking about Meta.
Can bring it up.
Yeah. This one's kind of been sideways. I want to take a look at whenever it comes to a Mag 7. I think it's worth it to look and see who's selling, which insiders. I did notice last week that there was some kind of BS trade that Mark Zuckerberg did where he sold like 84 shares and made 50K. But aside from that, it's he hasn't been selling. Well, he did sell on the 9th. But the bigger, some of these other names like the chief legal officer, the chief operating officer, they've been selling a lot as well, and it still continues to rise up. Looking like it could be rolling over. Not sure if it is, but it seems like it's having a hard time staying above that 20-day SMA. So if it cannot get back above that and close multiple days above it, I think it may end up going to 50. The 50 days.
We'll take this. I will shout this out. One up. Great time today. Loved all the green I booked. We love that too, River. Well done. I may have broken a light sweat. That's okay. That means you burned some calories. Really good stuff. Tim is fantastic as well. Indeed. That's why we bring him back. Later, everyone. Green, green, green. I just love the positive vibes. That's what we're supposed to do here on the show. Great job here, River. Awesome stuff. Jay also mentioning that Shaq got a pop off the McDonald's news, the MCD news. Well, this is an intraday. Did something else happen here that I'm missing? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, but good call here, Jay. Also, I think Dennis talked about this on pre-market prep this morning. Ticker WEN Wendy's. This also got a pop off of that when this happened yesterday. Yeah, this actually gave it all back though.
Yeah, and BYND also had a squeeze on that news as well.
It was wild. That gave everything. But look at this. Yep. Complete round trip. Complete round trip.
This is one of I think one of the best features about pros, because when you get the news this quick, you get it ahead of enough time to take advantage of moves like this.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the
absolutely.
Huge things.
And you know what else? What we talked about as soon as we looked at this happening, we said, "Hey, BYND, that's one of those stocks that's got higher short interest, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, we have all that data right here." It made it very, very easy to do that. Good shout there, 13.
It's closed. So Shake Shack, when I look at the daily chart, 111 is quite interesting. That looks like a breakout spot, and we're slightly above it right now. But you can look to the left, and all year this has been a level that the price has been trying to get over. There's no closes above it. I see lots of attempts to trade over it, to break out over it, no closes. So as soon as we start seeing some closes over 111, that could be really good and send this stock up higher, maybe to the previous all-time high area, 120s and such. So
good stuff there on Shaq.
Yeah, that's a level to watch for 111. TVGN coming down. Yeah, that thing needed to. And then we were talking about how it was looking like that 290 was providing too much resistance, and sure enough, yeah, it just started breaking down. We're beneath VWAP now. MACD is crossed. Yeah, I don't know how low it's going to drop before it finds some support, but the trades for this one is over for now. Maybe there'll be something later on in the day that sets up, but on to better things.
It's been a good morning, though. It has been a good morning, man.
Oh yeah.
This is what this entire thing here is for. Dow at the lows, by the way.
It was interesting too, because the list of options for these kinds of stocks to trade, it was kind of thin. And
you know what? I didn't even trade any of the smaller movers. Oh, you know what? I did hit Bivy there on that 420 breakout that you called spot on. But other than that, it was McDonald's. Traded the bigger names here today.
Yep. Tracy Liverman saying PC is an interesting IPO, not doing anything with it here, but fun to watch. I'm looking at that right now. That put a high of 540 in when did this IPO? This looks like this IPO'd back on September 25th. And today is
right here. Yeah.
Is one of the biggest green candles it's had since then. Looks
right
like
back to that IPO price.
Yeah.
It looks like, yeah.
Yeah, we're right back there. We're actually testing that. It looks like 535 might be somewhere around there, 535. We're not too far away from that from the highs from the IPO, which is the all-time high of 573. Daily MACD not looking bad, looking like this could take that out. I don't know. The volume's this is the best volume day it's had since its IPO as well. So I don't know that we'll get necessarily a relative volume play given how short of a lifespan the stock has had. But I think this is something that we should be, keeping an eye on maybe for tomorrow or even later today. I don't know. What do you think?
Running through some of the other stocks here. Mr. Cooper was down. I didn't even see that.
I agree with you, Tracy. This is an interesting watch. And I think the thing I'd be watching for is if it can take out that 573. Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay. What we out here?
Yeah. What else? Well, we don't have that much time left. So
no, we don't. The one thing I did want to check in here real quick, because we didn't really check in on it a lot here, is going to be Tesla, right? So Tesla looks like we continued the down move from the close yesterday, down about just shy of 1% here, hanging on to 216. Remember, they report earnings tonight, so the real fireworks are going to come here tonight. We did have the Anne Marie trade on Tesla. We actually had a couple from yesterday. For those of you that might have missed it, I believe she posted that in the it might be in her video from yesterday, but we did have those trades there on Tesla.
I've traded Tesla a lot before. I haven't done it, in recent years as much. But when I look at what's happened over the past week and a half, I don't think I've really ever seen Tesla trade quite like this. This is really interesting consolidation here in Tesla that I don't think I've really ever. Maybe I'm wrong, and I just need to look at the chart better going backwards. But I don't think I've ever seen such a concentration here in a range of prices with Tesla over this period of time. I mean, look at it's pretty much been flat at around 220 for a long period of time.
Yeah,
we've only recently been down here beneath that around 215 for a few days. But I don't think I can ever recall any time where I've seen Tesla consolidate like this.
Okay,
that's
those earnings tonight are going to be wild. Going to be wild.
Yeah.
A lot of selling volume here recently. We'll see if that can turn around with the earnings print tonight.
Looking for a shakeout to 200, and then the buyers step in.
Look at Amanda. I've already put on and closed the Tesla fly twice. we got that trade 24 hours ago. Amanda's just out here slanging it.
But just look at the price action. Like if you had confidence that this was going to close near the open like it's been doing for almost 2 weeks, you're doing great in Tesla with butterflies. Like absolutely great. Hey, Comp, not a problem, man. Just keep coming back, and I'll give you more stuff to talk about. All right? How about SPY, ES, SPX back to previous day's low. So that's different. Yeah, we could not get much higher. Let's take a look at this on a smaller chart. Yeah, so we were coming back up. We were making our way through the consolidation this morning. Could not get back into the pre-market consolidation area and got rejected. So here we are back down looking for support from the 580.33. Now, the thing I keep saying is that when we test certain levels and they keep getting hammered, eventually they break down. And that's the same for when there's upside. If the level keeps getting tested or a moving average keeps getting tested, to the upside or the downside, and it continues to get hammered, eventually it's going to give way. We might see that here with SPY pretty soon because this is not like the price action we were getting yesterday. How high did we get up, by the way? Not even into the 82 handle, 582 handle, not even there. So we're going to see. We're waiting to see if we get some support from this 580.33, and if not, then the next downside level I have would be the previous all-time high of 577.71.
All right, and folks, we are waiting for Zunaid here, who will be joining us shortly. Turn it over to Story Trading. So stay tuned for that. Still rolling through some of the names here real quick. We were trading here today. UAVS, this is popping on volume right now. Do we have news here? I don't see anything yet.
Oh, is it moving?
UAVS, yes, it is.
Okay, so if you recall, I put this one on everybody's radar because this did a reverse split, and we were just waiting for that. Okay, so I think it may have been, was it earlier this week that it did the reverse split? Well, let me look. But I did mention that this did a reverse split, and we just needed to wait.
This is October 15th, so this was last week.
Last week, okay. So here we are. I mean, there was a big drop on Monday for some reason. I didn't see why that was, but
hey, look who
reverse split
is.
What is up? My apologies. Yeah, my regular normal setup couldn't recognize my mic or whatever, so we had to come to the backup here. Well, what's up, fellas?
Well, the fact that you even have a backup machine means that you are dedicated, and we love to hear that. So, Zunaid, tell us what we got coming up here.
You've got Story Trading, you've got Ben, Rhett, and also Godfather hanging out with us here. And then, of course, after that, we'll have All Access with Aaron Bree. And then after that, we're going to go over some futures talk with my man, Jess is going to come hang out with us for a bit, talk some education, talk some setups. So a lot of great content still left for about an hour. And then after that, we've got the couple of interviews that I got a chance to do in Miami with Robinhood executives. So a lot of fun stuff.
Okay. Well done, Zunaid. That's going to be it for 13 and I. Take over, my man.
All right. See you guys later. Ben, I'm going to put you up now. What is going on, man? Good morning to you.
What's up? Good morning. How you doing, Zunaid?
I'm doing well. Just a lot of things to do, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Let me go ahead and get Rhett up on here and also the Godfather. And I've got your charts, brother. You let me know if anything else. Have a great show, y'all.
All right. Awesome. I don't see my there. Where's my chart at? I stopped flash for a second and then okay. Am I on a delay or you guys are on a delay?
There you go. Perfect.
Now it's coming. There we go.
Yep.
All right. Great. Welcome everyone. Godfather, good to see you. Rhett, how you doing here? Look, today is choppy. We had an epic call yesterday on GM. It was beautiful for our community. It was up between 300 and 500%. We had a $54 target at $50 in the pre-market. Played that with $52 calls, and looked like maybe we had an opportunity to repeat something like that today, and we did well with McDonald's. McDonald's, one of our top picks this morning. We gave it a 307 target, reached 301, pulling back a little bit here with the market. But I got to tell you, this is one of the only things working today for us. The breath is really bad, man. Look at this, going through the watch list. The breath is really bad. So overall, I'm down, even though McDonald's trade has worked brilliantly. This is the call option I got in at $2.50 here, $2.95 strike. We're at $6.30 now, but I only got a couple of them. So it hasn't made up for the bloodbath that basically we're seeing everywhere else. I was expecting a follow-through day in the eVTOL stocks. Joby performing better than ACHR. We made Joby our top pick this morning. It's been struggling, but definitely holding up better than ACHR, which was the second pick. Joby just had a better chart, better fundamentals. After that FAA rule yesterday, the final rule to commercialization was published yesterday by FAA. So been a little disappointed in Joby and ACHR. Yeah, unfortunately, I had a big ACHR position going into today. Didn't have a chance to sell that pop because I was busy buying McDonald's calls and stuff. So far, we'll see. But anyway, that's the big picture for me. I know there are some. We also had Learn in the top 5. We gave that to you earlier this morning, and small profits on that. Had a nice little pop on a huge beat. But yeah, other than that, been very choppy underneath. Bad breath underneath. I know, Rhett, you've been playing some SPY puts here on the side, and I've joined you on that. But I don't know. What do you got? I know, Godfather, you have some other stuff maybe doing a little better. We got Geo, which is doing great, but that's my long-term account, not my trade account.
IONQ also.
IONQ, which I completely missed this entire move on IONQ, but I think, Godfather, you've been all over it.
Yes.
Maybe you want to start there.
Sure. Yeah, look, I'm not sure really what sparked the move in these quantum names. I think there's sort of follow-on excitement to the AI trade and how power hungry it is. And, you know, this is sort of the next frontier. And these quantum names, it's always been a technology that's been in the future, but we're starting to see some actual traction at names like IonQ. There are 6 names public, but there really is only one that has material traction and a material treasury, and that's IonQ. There's a recent Air Force contract that sort of validated that, and the folks that traffic in the AI sector say ultimately we need to have quantum computing involved here, not just for power, but for capability. So look, this group had a big move back in 2021. It's back in vogue again now. These things are trading at 40 times EV to sales, but you're looking at CAGRs, at least for IonQ, which is one of the few that actually has fundamentals, that's going to see the top line grow at 100% or 80 to 100% for the next 5-6 years. So you don't focus on valuations here. It's a thematic play. How long does this enthusiasm last? I don't know. But the thing to know is there's only one name here, and that's IonQ. RGTI, QBT, QUBT, some of the others, they all have material cash burns. They all have material ATMs out there. They are all going to be taking advantage of rise in share price to issue stock.
Let's turn a little bit to shitcoins, all right? Because not much is up today. UAVS up 60%. We don't really do shitcoins in our community, but lately, I mean, they're in trend, right? Especially, is this a biotech? Is this like a slow flow reverse split biotech? I don't know. But I don't know if you had a chance to look at UAVS, but any opinion on this? Is this just shitco you're willing to throw $100 in?
I don't know this name at all, and I'm less interested in buying shitcos right here ahead of the election. I think buyers are going to start leaving this market, or at least striking in terms of activity. We saw really low volumes yesterday in the market, and that
actually a drone. This one's actually a drone company, not a biotech, by the way.
So, look, if you own core positions and you buy dips and sell rips, I think you should be doing a little bit more of the latter and a little bit less of the former these days. And for me, I'm high grading to quality here over at least the next 2-week period. I do think we're going to see after the election, once we get through whatever uncertainty there is, a really robust period in November and December. And seasonally, we do get that. So much more
maybe
stuff in that time period, but today and for the next weeks, no.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the overall macro and the election, because I've actually gotten a little bit bearish here, and I've been trying to raise some cash, although I keep reinvesting it, and also I have a little bit of downward bias, which is why I was willing to play a little bit with SPY puts today, but I just think that there's a possibility we get the exact opposite of what everyone was looking for coming into October. And what everyone was looking for is volatility in October, down market in October because of the uncertainty of the election and because of seasonality. And then you rip in November after you get the clarity of who won the election. That's what everyone was expecting. But instead, we've been ripping in October. And, in terms of the politics of it, the poly market and everything, it's like now 65% think Trump is going to win. So I'm not sure you're getting the Trump does. I remember in 2016 when he won, futures were up like 3-4% that night. It's starting to feel like we might get the opposite of what everyone was expecting. You run up into the election and then you sell off after. I'm not sure. The market likes to play games like that. And so, yes, I agree with playing it with safer names, maybe more cash here in the next couple of weeks. But I'm also not convinced that we're going to rip right after the election either. So, yeah, I think, anyway, I kind of agree with your sentiment to be a little more careful here.
Yeah. Look, I think the overall backdrop, though, we have relatively loose financial conditions. We are cutting rates into what appears to be at this point, at least a stable economy. All of this is a great environment for getting cash off of the sidelines. A little bit of inflation is very good for corporate earnings. And, There's a lot of hand wringing about interest rates, especially in the long end these days, with this backup of 60 basis points since the Fed cut 50 a month ago on the short end. But at the end of the day, earnings trump interest rates. We know that. I mean, look at the rate rising cycle and look what stocks did, during that entire period coming off the bottom of zero interest rates. Stocks actually went up 22%. So ultimately, you got to focus back on the fundamentals and focus back on earnings. The problem is that earnings estimates for 2024 and 2025, more importantly, are starting to fall or at least flatten here. And the indices are all at key levels, threatening to break down. If we do finally get the long-term rates, which it's this implied volatility in the treasury yields right now that's causing a bit of heartache for the market. If this settles a bit, maybe we can continue. But yeah, it feels a little bit unstable here. So.
Brett, are you still in SPY puts?
Yeah, I bought back in and I already sold them. I was going to tell you that.
All right, so
I sold them on the first leg down, then I bought it when it bounced.
Thing is, if I sell this, I'm not going to have many left. All right, I'm going to sell here up 40% on these 579 puts expiring tomorrow. Got in at $1, selling them at $1.40. Come on, man. I hope that takes Starbucks down with it. It's not, man. I just need 40 cents to break even on these Starbucks puts. I was almost there. I should have 38 cents. I should have bailed. Anyway, I was wrong on Starbucks this morning. I just did not like that CEO video that was put out last night, and I was wrong. Market is outvoting me. But I don't know. Was I wrong? Because Starbucks rejected right at yesterday's close. I find it hard to believe. Why would he go up? Why would he have a green day after they pull guidance? I don't know. Godfather, you got any thoughts on this? I know you did share some thoughts in our Discord.
Yeah, look, it's an extremely heavily owned name. It's in all of the indices. Brian Nickel has a lot of love on the street. Coming in, you expect a guy like this to reset expectations. You expect him to pull a kitchen sink, and by pre-announcing and withdrawing guidance, that all kind of follows the playbook. So he's got a lot of believers. Fundamentally, you're making tweaks to their business model. Otherwise, this is a very profitable company. Like I said,
are you not worried about inflation? I mean, I'm not sure where we've seen other places, but consumer discretionary, their coffees are expensive. I mean, it's like to me, I think it's like a luxury item.
I agree, and I don't own this name, and I actually don't own a lot of straight up consumer discretionary names for exactly that reason. But in terms of interpreting the move today, again, I think the market's just seeing through this, and once expectations are lowered, the bar is something that will be beat in future quarters, and I think that's what the market's seeing.
Well, nice call, Rhett. Look at this SPY. Come on, I hope this takes Starbucks down because that'll be my only put position after. I think I'm going to sell my final SPY puts here, Rhett. Up 87% on these final. It's just 2 contracts left. Up 90%. Let's go. Hit that market. Boom. I am now out of SPY puts. Hopefully get a rebound there, but not enough. These SPY puts and McDonald's calls, my allocation just was not big enough to make up for this terrible breath with other stocks today. But let's see.
But going back to Starbucks, I don't know about you guys, but around my area, I mean, the Starbucks lines are still crazy. Like they're still going wrapped around the building. So it still seems like people are still buying their drinks.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it's about. Like in that video last night, I think he talked a good bit about that. Was it there or somewhere else that I saw about the long lines and the process? He was talking a lot about the process, right? The ordering and the online ordering and the wait times and what the baristas, employees, some process things there that need to be addressed. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not about inflation. But you know what? Whatever happens, this is a day trade for me. I'm just hoping for another little buck down and I can get out. So anyway, but I was definitely wrong on this for today. I thought we'd have a more pessimistic, negative direction on it. So yeah, people love the CEO there. All right, man, SPY puts them all out, right? So let's see, right there, 580. That would be a beautiful place to get back in. That was previous support. Now resistance at 580. We usually don't do this sort of thing on story trading, to be honest with you, trading the volatility of the indices, but there's not much else going on, which is working today. All right. Anything in chat you want to bring up, Brett?
No, they're just this guy named Lion. He said Starbucks suffers from the big boycott around the world. Start talking about the boycotts that they had.
Oh, is that one of the reasons over the Middle East and Israel situation? I guess that's what it's talking about.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Then,
anyway, I mean, it's just a day trade for me. But yeah, go on. What else?
Then someone was saying the Bitcoin/gold pullback.
Bitcoin.
Oh, here you said they closed all their stores in Morocco, doing poor in Turkey.
Oh,
yeah, look,
okay.
Look, it's all just noise, you guys. I mean, pull up a 3-year chart of this thing. The stock is flat. So if you're owning this, long term as a compounder, you're in the wrong stock. If you're trying to trade this thing, great, but wait until $70 or something to do it. But in my opinion, it's a low upside. Trying to buy this thing at 92, sell it at 105 or something like that. There's just better things to do.
Let's talk a little bit Geo and then McDonald's as well. Dig into that a little more. So Geo, this is beautiful. The Trump trade is actually listed on MAGA list. So this is crazy. DJT up 3 times. So we brought up all these Trump stocks. It was the Monday morning after Elon Musk went up in Pennsylvania on stage and jumped in the air. That was the turning point for this whole watch list. And we saw that in the betting markets that Trump's odds were really increasing. So we brought attention to these stocks. And I just didn't do DJT because I don't ever really, because of the valuation is just too ridiculously high. But we did do Geo, right? I did Geo, and you can see we had a big move. I made a nice amount of money swinging Geo, but I'm back in. So I got out and consolidated. Now starting to move back up. I'm back in because we're just seeing another, I think this past weekend, Sunday, I don't know. I felt the momentum with the McDonald's thing that Trump went to the McDonald's. So I just felt the momentum increasing that much more for Trump. So I thought this week would be another good week for Trump stocks. So back in Geo, this is the immigration border stock. Let's just look at the technicals here. This is like a beautiful, what is that? Is that a W pattern? But it looks like the next target's going to be up there at the peak of this candle, 1631. And I think you go over 18. Even we're overbought on the daily, but not on the weekly. I think this thing is headed over 18. Do you have any fundamental thoughts in terms of valuation, Godfather, on this video?
I mean, if you go to the Trump proxy list, you're stuck on names like DJT, and as you mentioned, you just can't value this thing. You certainly can't get to the value where we're at today. It makes no sense. The other name that's really moving is PHUN. It's a low float shitco.
That's a major shitco.
And same thing with Rumble. So
although
if you
Rumble,
want to
come on, I got to defend Rumble a little bit. You can't put it in the same category as Funware. Fun is complete shit. Rumble has a real business model. They may be overvalued, but they're growing and the revenue is growing pretty fast. So I don't think it's the same category. You can say it's overvalued, but it's not a shitco.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know it fundamentally that well to opine on its value. But look, as Trump proxies go, if you want this as a tailwind, if you're a full degen and you're playing the high volatility, go ahead, play PHUN, but it's not for me. Geo, at least, look, the premise here is that they have this big electronic monitoring business. And that's it's politically a solution that has bipartisan support. So you've got that even if Harris, ultimately wins. But NAV, the company was out touting at $45. They're saying at least there's a replacement cost of $27 to their assets.
Wait, you're talking about Geo has an
I'm
NAV
talking about
of
Geo.
45.
Yeah, you asked about fundamentals on Geo. So
Wait, their net asset value is $45. Is that what you said?
the company's touting a net asset value of $45. Yes.
How do they get that? Where's that coming from?
That's coming from their corporate presentation.
Wow.
What's really, so it's a low margin, relatively low margin, bricks and mortar prison business that relies on government contracts. That's 77% of their business, but 16% of their business, and where all the growth is, and margins that are in the 50-60% range is in the monitoring business. And that's what's really, gotten the market excited. I think that's the reason that Michael Berry bought the stock. So there's fundamental support to a Trump proxy. So if you have to pick a Trump proxy and you want to play this, you might as well pick something that has some fundamental support. So you've got this, you've got Fannie Mae, FNMA. That name has also moved.
Pretty nicely too. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah. So again, there's been a long-term, story here with Trump wanting to disband this and restructure it. So every time he's high in the polls, this comes back. This wouldn't be my go-to name. I took a look at all of those Trump proxies this morning, and the one that really stands out to me is Geo. So
Nice.
Any pullback under 15, I think you're well protected on this thing.
Nice. I love it when we're on the same page because we approach markets a little bit from different perspectives. You're more fundamental oriented. I'm a little bit more catalyst sentiment oriented. So when we agree on something, that's really powerful. That's going to give me more conviction to maybe get a bigger position in Geo, maybe after the show here is done. So awesome to hear that from you. Oh, did Learn just pop? Cool. Yeah. Did I get back and Learn? I think I did. Man, they had some, I don't even know what this company is, but every morning I kind of look at not all the earnings reports, but as many as I can. And LRN had the most compelling case. I think they did like 85 cents versus like a 20-cent estimate, something like that. And if you annualize that, 94 cents versus 28 estimate. Let's just round that to $1, annualize it, $4. You throw on a 20 PE, that's $80. Back of the napkin math, I covered this on the show this morning to kind of give an idea to our Discord community that this re-rating in the pre-market at $80 would likely hold, that we wouldn't get a sharp pullback, even though we have this big cap. I just did that based on the math of the earnings, and that turned out to be good. Top 5 pick, doing great. Brett, near the high of the day, so don't have a huge position.
Oh, yeah.
But at least we got 2 things working now between McDonald's and LRN.
Oh yeah, you want to check out the Bitcoin chart right now with MSTR?
MSTR or Bitcoin? Which one do you want me to check out?
You can pull up the Bitcoin chart first.
Look, to me, nothing has still changed here. My go-to chart on the Bitcoin is the weekly, and this weekly, I don't have lines here, but to me, it's pretty clear. You can imagine a line you can draw up here that this weekly has broken out above the 20-week MA, relatively low RSI. So it's been teasing a big breakout. I found out I'm not the only one that's been kind of frustrated by a major breakout in Bitcoin. I've been looking for 70,000. Oh, we almost hit 70,000. And then new all-time highs, and it's teasing us. So I don't know. Fundamentally, if you can say that, I believe in the thesis here, so I'm just long and looking for all-time highs on Bitcoin at some point. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, look, all the inflation trades are taking it on the chin today, and this backup in the 10-year has gotten people, thinking about a potential skip by the Fed in the rate cutting cycle in case the upcoming data. We've got upcoming data, right? And if the jobs come in hot and inflation comes in hot, then all of these names are going to catch fire again. Bitcoin, silver, gold. So these are check backs from close to all-time highs, and I don't think they're anything more than that, frankly. Today's probably a buying opportunity because.
Hey, Rhett, did he get back and SPY puts right there? Touch that 20 MA. Oh, okay. Anyway.
No, I took my profits and ran for today.
You did. All right, good for you.
Yeah,
well, I'm up on that. That's good. But man, it's not pulling Starbucks down. I may have to end up taking a loss on these Starbucks puts, but I'll give it a little bit more time. All right. Any other questions in the thread?
Yeah, we have one more question from TAA. They said, what side Tesla will move?
I don't know. Look, Tesla, it's too hard to play this short term, in my opinion. I did increase my long term allocation of Tesla. Man, what was the cap? I think it was just the light CPI. I forgot what it was. There may have been another catalyst in there, but I did double my long term position. It's not a huge position. It's maybe like 3% of my long term portfolio. I have no reason to believe that they're going to have a big beat or something that'll, happen. In fact, I'm thinking they might miss because reduced all their pricing the other night with like really good deals. And maybe that's an indication that like sales are low and he wants to have a story to tell that, we're going to be increasing our volume or whatever with these price cuts. He wanted to get that out there ahead of the earnings. If I had to make a guess, that's my guess. So maybe there's downside here to 200, but the Tesla I own is for long-term 5 to 10 year outlook. You're not going to, no one's going to be able to fundamentally, fundamentally, what's the word I'm looking for? Validate or give a reason for this valuation. Most people who are long Tesla long-term are in it for the unknown qualitative things that could happen in the future because of Elon Musk as the leader. And that's my thesis as well. And I just thought with the interest rate cuts starting, it was time to double my position in Tesla. But I have no idea what it's going to do after earnings. Oh, wow. UAVS, Shitco. I bought 100 shares at the top of the show at like 270 or something like that. Anyway, that stuff is crazy. What else we got?
Well, you're continuing to see the shiny bubble folks leave the SMR trade. Even leaders like Pablo, down 7% today. So
that's been played out.
I have a short position here, and I'm holding it because I do expect some volatility to the market going into the election, and this is going to impact high beta names. So if you're long names like these and you're trading them, keep your position sizes short, or small, sorry, and keep your time frames short and your stops tight. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we nailed Oclo to the upside, like in a big way. I did disagree with you in terms of at the time how far it would go up, but I finally agree with you that now it's played out, and Oclo, SMR, time for these names to come down. I think you can say it'll at least touch the 20 DMA here. SMR currently at 14 is a 20 DMA. Oclo is 1250, but I could see this rising quickly. Maybe over the next few days, that 20 DMA will come to 1415, and maybe that's where it finds some support. But I totally agree with you. It's now time to do that. It's 11:28. I see a lot of questions coming in on ASTS, RCAT. There was one on TSSI. Let me quickly talk about these three names while Rhett, see if you can dig up a coupon code for people who want to join our Discord while I do that. So ASTS, I think nothing's changed. I think Godfather and I both very bullish on ASTS. And we're just waiting. The big catalyst around the corner. You got 20 DMA support right here. So that's it. I don't have a day or swing trade position right now. It's all long-term allocation, waiting for that next catalyst to hit. That is ASTS. RCAT, I don't have a day or swing position either. This is also all long-term shares. I did get out of all of my call options because of the delays in the SSR. I'm a little suspect about that at this point. So thank God I got out early. Like when this thing was like 340, got out of all my call options and I did not reload, waiting. If they win SSR, then I'll get back in on that. And I guess Zunaid has to kick us off. I don't hear Zunaid. Oh, Rhett, do you have, while Zunaid unmutes, do you have a code for people?
Yeah, I do.
Storytrading.com/Discord. Yeah, what do you got?
So they can use code PROFITS for to try out for the first month for $9.99 for both our page and the Godfathers.
Sweet. Beautiful code PROFITS.
All
All right. Appreciate you guys for hanging out, man. Every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, you guys can catch Story Trading here. And, of course, check out their Discord and other information for their future trades as well. Appreciate all of you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. See you guys. Aaron Bree, we're going to go ahead and bring you on, my man. What's up?
What's up, Z-Man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I heard you had some successful bets in the in the past couple of weeks. We'll chat about that here later on. I'll call you. But what you got coming up, man?
Hey, you know me. We have an all-access interview. If this is your first time with us, you haven't been with us for an all-access, this is where we connect directly with the companies or with the executives that run the companies that we're looking at, that we're interested in the stock market. It's the only place on YouTube you'll get this unfettered access to the executives that run publicly traded companies. Today, we have an exciting one, BioLargo. We've talked to them before. It's always great to catch up with Dennis Calvert, the CEO of BioLargo, that is BLGO on the OTC market. So without further ado, let's roll that intro and bring Dennis on the stream. All right, there he is, the man, Dennis Calvert, the CEO of BioLargo. Dennis, how are you doing today? Great to have you back on the stream.
Hey, Aaron. It's really great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Dennis, I know we've spoke a couple times before, so I'm familiar with BioLargo, but not everyone here may be. So before we get into it, do you mind just giving us a brief overview of BioLargo?
Yeah, sure. We've been innovating since 2007. We got multiple assets in the portfolio, and we really call ourselves an innovator, right? So we invent, proven partner, and we focus on sustainable innovation that we believe has a high potential for impact as a disruptor, potential change agent in each market we focus on. So we got 4 operating units. Our first big commercial success is in our belt now, under our belt. Another one about to happen, a couple more in the works, and they're all way cool innovations. And the primary business thesis, of course, is to get these things situated in the commercial market, find the partner for massive distribution, and then, as we say, go change the world for good, right? That's the idea.
I like, you said way cool. I like way cool. And it's nice to have these kind of different arms of a business. So Dennis, why adopt a subsidiary model? What advantages does a family of companies have?
Oh, it's so significant. What happens as an innovator, the adoption cycle is so unpredictable. And some of our shareholders can testify that some of these things have taken a long time to get to market. And, what happens is a lot of companies, they take a gamble. They super capitalize. They spend like crazy to try and take a market. That's where 90% of failure occurs. And what we've experienced is this idea that with great technical acumen, and really finding the spot at which you can shine for margin and for customer adoption, you have a better chance not only surviving, but then with a business model that leverages the capital resources and the distribution of our partners, it's incredibly efficient. It's an efficient deployment of capital that allows us to then, once we find the spot, to generate accelerating revenues rapidly and revenues and margin. And the best example, we got a partnership with the Poof product, POOPH, right? And that's in our O&M environmental. And, that's an example where we spent 8 years developing a market for odor control, odor and VOC. And a company came to us, Poof, and said, we think it's $1 billion brand. We said, yeah, we do too. And we made a deal. And the deal is it's kind of a hybrid. We control some supply chain. We have multiple SKUs, a whole brand block that goes into the store. In fact, they just landed Petco and PetSmart. And of course, Walmart's huge and Amazon. I think they're in over 35,000 retail outlets now. And that's a showcase of the innovation and the business model all in one that's now really carrying our company to profitability. We're cash flow positive for sure. Got some non-cash charges for the next rung. But that's a showcase of, over a decade of work is now panning out to be a significant windfall. We also bargained for about 20% of the brand equity. That's something people often forget. Once these companies adopt us, we've participated in the equity position that creates an exit opportunity as well. So in just that category, we believe that we're building brand equity and revenue base that fully justifies our existing market cap at somewhere around $75 million. And look, we got 3 more coming. Right. And so that model allows us to concentrate on what we call core competency, right? Core competency, foundational pillars of our business, like technology and people, critical mass of people, strategy, right? Purpose, all those things kind of come together. And each one of these business units features a technical acclaim that we believe has a chance to take a market. And of course, it's a lot of work. It's easy to say, it's hard to do, of course, and it always takes longer, but it's so significant. And, and driven by purpose, that keeps everybody motivated. All the management's long. We've been doing this really since the spring of 2007.
Wow.
Now we've got critical mass and we're witnessing adoption, and it really is awesome.
I thought about you the other day, Dennis, because I saw a poof commercial out in the wild with the guy, he's showing off the poof and he was spraying it in his mouth and whatnot. And I was like, man, like I wouldn't do that with my, the other cleaning products that I have sprayed in my mouth. So that really shows,
Yeah, that's a clever way of showing safety, right? That's the whole point of that demonstration,
right.
Not to sell a product for your mouthwash, but actually our science could make mouthwash. I mean, that's not a problem. Yeah. The point is it works. It's an oxidizer. It's super safe. No harm to the pet, no harm to the house, no vapors that create problem. And that safety feature is something that the market is really trending towards. And so we think the poof product's going to go humongous.
I can't remember where I saw the commercial, if it was on like a YouTube thing or if it was on actual, are they playing on actual TV, the commercials? On
Podcast television? No. It's the fastest growing pet product in the market.
Yeah, so I think it might have been during like a football game or something I was watching live. It must have been on TV, but it was pretty cool. And I thought about you. So Dennis, tell us about the contracts you've signed with the Air Force. How much of your business is with the government? And at the moment, and are you hoping this becomes a larger share?
Yeah, so that's a nice piece of business. When you work for the government, you don't get rich, right? That's the way it works. You really don't. It's a lower margin business, but it's very important. You know why it's important? Because it shows our technical acumen. If you can work for the United States Air Force, you can work for just about anybody. And that's really critical, especially when you migrate towards what we think are higher margin products like PFAS solutions for forever chemicals, right? Our battery tech that needs adoption across the entire military. And then, of course, we have medical products that have a huge opportunity in the military. And so, again, I think the Air Force contracts are awesome because they provide recurring revenue. So you can bank on that. And for our engineering group, that's, somewhere around 120 or so thousand a month. So that's not bad. It's good business. But again, it's an example of the diversity that allows us to create critical mass to then innovate and bring higher margin, higher growth opportunities into those channels. That's what the Air Force does for us.
Well, you mentioned the batteries there, Dennis, and I want to congratulate you on the upcoming opening of your battery manufacturing facility. Yeah. What kind of capacity will the facility have?
Well, it's a pilot unit, right? So this article is a great article. This article came out in The Economist just a couple weeks ago, and it talks about clean energy's next $1 trillion business. And really they're referring to long duration energy storage. Okay, so this is a macro article. And the key figure for this is it predicts the market over the next 6 years to go somewhere close to a billion, like 800 billion, almost $1 trillion, and to 1 to 3 trillion by the year 2040. This is an incredibly high growth sector. And of course, the article speaks to major competition in China, people like CATL. CATL is a battery giant. But what it highlights is that they're looking for technology innovations that allow for long duration storage. And when we talk about long duration, we're talking about grid scale batteries to offload renewable, right? Or balance the grid, including microgrid development. Microgrid's a simple word like there's a source of energy, there's a storage of energy, there's a plus and a minus of giving and taking energy. That's a microgrid. Microgrids are decentralized energy stations, okay? That's the future. That's the future. In fact, think about it. You got Microsoft and Google just announced massive $500 billion investments in nuclear. I'm telling you, with AI growth, with the expansion of the electrification of the world, the energy supply cannot possibly meet demand, hence this incredible opportunity for long duration storage. So anyway, we have a storage technology, the Salinity liquid sodium battery. This is the prototype, and notice it's about 3.5 by 13 inches, and that's a cell. Cells go into racks, racks go into packs, packs make battery storage systems. Okay, so we're talking about the kind of systems that's a 20-foot trailer. When you look at a solar farm, you're talking about a $200 million installation of battery tech. This is humongous business, okay? And the growth trajectory in that space, there's a gap in the market that we believe we meet, and that is what? Long duration, safe, non-self-discharging batteries that can meet the demand of a long duration output for energy that's stored and energy that's accessible to the grid or to the user of the electricity. Okay. And this is a technology we've spent about a year and a half. We just made our first prototypes. We've revalidated the claims. It's a big deal. Our stats, we believe, are unmet in the market, unmatched stats. So there's a bunch to do. It's not fast. Next, we got to scale up, which we're doing with this cell. We got to revalidate the claims with the cell. We got to build packs. We got to bring in some partnerships, which we're working on a partner-centric model. But here's the thing. This is another example where we're leveraging our core competency of science and engineering, some entrepreneurship, a strategy that conserves capital, and in a market that's going to go to 3 trillion. Okay, 3 trillion is what we're talking about.
That's a pretty big addressable market. So what, you mentioned the salinity batteries and the stats here, but where, or I guess what metrics are the salinity batteries currently outperforming the competition? Are there any key areas?
So like energy density. Yeah, energy density is one. This has an extraordinarily high energy density. So that's basically energy output. And we're 2.9 times that of lithium, 2.9 times greater.
Wow.
Voltage is over 4 volts. We've proven that. There you go. We've proven that claim. It's a self-discharging battery. Lithium has self-discharging, which means it loses its charge over time. It has high inefficiency. It can't go to 100% back to zero. We can go to 100, go to zero. It's not going to destroy the battery. There's no self-degradation in the way the battery is configured. There's a phenomenon that occurs in ion exchange, like lithium ion exchange, in which there's an exchange of ions and it creates degradation across the electrodes. That's why your cell phone battery runs out of juice eventually. You can't get it fully charged. It won't last 4 hours. It only goes to 2 hours. Hence, you need a new battery. Don't miss it. The same thing happens in EV batteries, and the same thing happens in the units that are going out in the field for grid scale storage. They degrade over time. Ours doesn't. So we believe, and we have evidence to support that this is a 20-year battery. Also, it's fully recyclable. It uses no rare earth, no lithium, no cobalt, no nickel. Okay? No lithium. Lithium. What's the problem with lithium? They cause fires. Do an internet search, right? Lithium battery fires. Oh my gosh. And so there's a gap in the market for this sort of sustainable strategy, high energy density, high voltage, lots of flexibilities in managing energy across the grid and that sort of scale. And so what we decided to do, and we really quickly decided, having invested in really proving up the technical claims, that our strategy would be to sell factories, not batteries. Sell factories, not batteries. So we're recruiting partners all over the world to build factories. And we don't have one yet. So we're doing pilot scale. But what will happen eventually is we're going to be in a position where we say we can hire 1,000 people. We can produce $500 million in revenue. We can make money. And remember, these are the kind of ventures that the Department of Energy has highlighted for strategic incentives. Well, what are those? Well, loan program in the billions, cheap loan, land's available from the United States government, tax credits, 10% for manufacturing, 30% for deployment of energy. Okay, now hear what we just said. Oh my goodness. The federal government has recognized that the current grid infrastructure is inadequate to meet the need over the next 6 and 16 years. And they've got, literally in the loan program, they got $68 billion set aside. Wow. $68 billion.
So, Dennis, unfortunately running up on time here, but I want to leave you with this one. What is the biggest opportunity that you currently see in clean tech today?
Yeah, that's a big question. Okay, so
yeah, I'm gonna last one is an easy one.
Who am I, right? Who am I to answer that question? I can tell you in our portfolio, right? The medical project, we've been working on some big partnerships, so we're really getting close to that. We're very excited. Everybody's anxious to see them come together and start launching. They're huge. So here's the way we stack it up. You know, all of our stuff is clean tech, everything. So odor, you know, we expect an exit north of 100 million. Okay. Medical, we expect an exit between 600 and $1 billion, just so you get order of magnitude, right? Okay, then you go to PFAS. Well, PFAS is lower margin, but strategic for the world. We're probably going to end up partnering to get to significance. Okay. Battery. Our business plan for the battery technology is a business plan that creates billions of value. Okay. And so now the Economist article has pointed out, this is a market going into the trillions. Okay. And we have a piece of technology that's unique in the world with claims that we believe are unmatched. And so now it's our job to package it, prove it, partner it, monetize it. And that's what we're doing. And that's our business. That's what we do. So we think energy is humongous.
Yeah, there you go. We know the world we are living in today. Everything is slowly but surely shifting toward that clean technology. You're seeing companies like you mentioned, Microsoft, Google, etc., investing in nuclear because everyone's trying to get to this zero emission. So, it's great to see that you guys have your hands in this industry and a path toward making a lot of money in that industry.
I think we're going to do really well. And so, as we say, we make life better, right? So impact starts with impact. And doing impact and making money is a great combination. That's what's kept us going for all this time. We're sitting on about a 70 million market cap. We almost no debt. We got cash in the bank. We're generating positive cash flow. We're nearing profitability. It's a great time to look at BioLargo and take a deep dive, because once you understand it, you'll go, holy shamoly, the future's so bright. So
there you go. Well, we've been on the line, of course, with Dennis Calvert, the CEO of BioLargo, trading on the OTC under ticker BLGO. Dennis, man, it's always great to have you on the stream. Always great to catch up with you. We got to have you on here soon to get some updates on that new battery facility and some other things. And till then, man, I hope you take care. And I'll shoot you a message next time I see that poof commercial come up on my TV.
Oh, everybody, right? And if you haven't tried it, try it. It's incredible. It really works. Super safe. Does the job. Awesome. Thanks, Aaron.
Of course, Dennis. All right, we'll chat soon. All right, guys. Again, that was Dennis Calvert, the CEO of BioLargo. Always great to catch up with Dennis. Company doing a lot of exciting things in the clean tech space. Again, trading on the OTC under ticker BLGO. I'm going to bring my man Zunaid back on the stream. Zunaid, what have you been doing the last 15 minutes? What's new in your world? What's new since the last time I saw you?
Well, it's always good because, whenever I see those poof commercials, I definitely think of Dennis, and it's always good to kind of see the partners that we work with kind of do some real life impacts in a positive way. But for now, we've got my man Kevin hanging out with us from Bullish Bears. I want to go over some talks about futures, see what's happening in the charts and the markets. I know we took a little bit of a hit, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. And so that's what we've got coming up, man.
All right, dude. Well, I will let you take the reins. I'll let you take control. And we'll have to talk some bets soon. I know NBA season started last night.
Dude,
so
yes,
I'll hit you up.
I will. Yeah, we'll definitely lose money together. I'm excited. All right, buddy. Take care. See ya. Put you in the back. Let me go ahead and change a couple of things on this side. All right, cool. Kevin, give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready. My man, what's going on, brother? Good morning.
What's going on, Zunaid? How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going well. I appreciate your patience, man. I know we've got about 12 minutes on the clock. We're going to talk some futures. I'm going to go and throw your charts up. Tell me what you are looking at right now.
For sure. So today, right, it was a bit of some tough price action. We saw that the NASDAQ was a lot stronger. I'm going to throw us in the replay system so we could sort of get an idea of how they were both trading against each other, right? So the ES kept trying to make new lows of day, while the NASDAQ was trying to hold a demand zone. So the NASDAQ and ES, these two are the two that I trade every day. And we have in the bottom right, the VIX with the previous day high and previous day low. Now I use the VIX previous day high and low to get an understanding if I should be looking for a trend or if I should be looking for us to fail. So if we're above a previous day high on the VIX, I could look for momentum to the downside, right? Because now we're trending higher on the VIX means a trend lower in the market and vice versa. So I'm going to let this play out for just a minute here. And I ended up, let's see, let's pull the VIX lower, bring this down a drop, replay mode one more time. Now let's bring us to that market open right here. We'll play that out for about 3 candles just to get an understanding of the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I'm waiting for, there was a spike that ended up giving us a move. I do apologize. This was something I caught earlier today. I believe it was on the 1 minute. I do apologize. I got, it's funny. I got wrapped up in that interview with BioLargo. What a fantastic interview. I'm excited to see what they do with the with the batteries. That's awesome. And a different battery than lithium is huge.
Yeah, especially in today's world where everything we're trying to innovate, try to get new technologies, you need something that is more compatible with different things that we're moving towards. So it's good. But I see you did get, you got a test to about the 58, 61, 25, and then it kind of bounced a little bit.
Yep.
Let me also pull up my charts in case you need me to go there.
So I got it all squared here right now.
Cool.
So we're looking at the 15-minute on ES and NQ, and this is sort of what I was looking at to get an understanding of the market, right? Now, we were coming into a demand zone, but we had a lot more selling pressure on ES than we did on the NASDAQ. Now, I saw that with the bookmap tool. Now, we don't have that up today, but as you mentioned, we spoke about it. We'll probably bring that up on another stream. How we could use bookmap for order flow, find buying pressure, selling pressure, sort of get confirmation on our trades.
Absolutely.
So something I saw on the 15-minute time frame was we were creating a lot of lower wicks, but we were also creating a lot of upper wicks, but we were coming into a demand zone. Now, for myself, for my trading strategy, now we have to see trading in our system as almost like building a house, right? When we're building a house, we don't just put walls up and call it a day. So when we're trading, I don't just have my demand zone and call it a day, right? So think we have foundation will be my supply and demand, my framework for the house, maybe support and resistance, previous day high, previous day low. The roof, that's my market structure to get an understanding. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Anything, any finishing touches, risk management, make sure you're not risking X amount. Somebody asked me yesterday, what was one thing that sort of clicked for me that helped me get further in my trading? And as soon as I stopped trying to make profit and started minimizing my losses, the profits came through, right? So once we're no longer focused on making the money, that's the biggest issue with a lot of new traders. They're focused on making the money. I've got to get rich quick. This funded account's only X amount. I'm going to get funded. I'm going to get a payout. Easy. Never that easy. Every trade we take needs to have some type of structure or reasoning behind it, right? Now, I did end up taking a few NASDAQ longs this morning that did work out off of this demand zone. I ended up getting in a long around here. I did end up moving my stop loss to below this candle, so it stopped me out for some profit. So it was a great trade. It was a good lagging my trail stop, because what I wanted to see on the 5-minute was I wanted to see a really good basing candle on this red candle, but instead it closed lower over here. Now, this is a live trade that I took on my Twitch at, I think it's Futures Kevin. You guys check that out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we got long here, got out somewhere over here. It was an okay scalp, right? I was using the book map. I was using footprint. There was a lot of heavy buying orders coming in, and I had the demand zone. But once I recognized that ES already broke a demand zone, we were using that as supply. Well, now I have a bit of an indifference in the market, right? Now I have ES at resistance while NASDAQ's at support. And a lot of times what will happen is we get chop, we'll get a range, we won't get any continuation. And a lot of people worry about that. They're concerned about that. But in my opinion, I like seeing that because that gives me the heads up that, hey, you know what? Don't look for that continuation play today. Don't look for that real move. Maybe try a scalp if we're getting that momentum off your area, but don't hold, right? And that really did work out in my favor. Obviously, we did get that continuation lower. I'll bring us back to the 15-minute. Now, how I find my supply and demand zones is I look for a basing candle like this one, a long upper wick, and I look for a push lower and continuation. So this 15-minute candle was formed from 9:45 to 10 o'clock. Then this 15-minute candle gave us a drop. So I said, okay, guys, it looks like there's a good chance we might continue lower. But we do have to remember we were just rejecting a previous day low. So again, I have two biases going against each other, which tells me with my plans and my trading rule not to take a trade.
All right. So now what I really love is, one of the main nuggets that I think you've dropped a few, by the way, if you guys want to check out Kevin, there is the Twitch link. We've put it in the chat, twitch.tv/futures Kevin. What I really love is the fact that you said, when you start to minimize your losses, that's when the profits kind of start to grow, because so many times we've heard like, oh, like find your exits, the best exit, scale out here, scale out there. But it's like, no. Like, your entry price matters just as much. Your stop losses matter just as much. So I love the insights on that one. If we go ahead and take a look, is there any support or resistance that you're kind of keeping an eye on? If we go back to live,
to plan a future trade that you might be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, let's do it. So let's look at the daily real quick to get an understanding of, just the market structure. Like I mentioned before, it's always good top-down analysis and look for everything else, right? So we see the ES on the daily has been weaker. We have 3 red candles in a row, whereas the NASDAQ is just hitting that red candle. Plus the past 3 days now on ES, we broke that previous day low 3 days in a row. The NASDAQ, this is the first day we're breaking that previous day low with a lot of momentum behind it. So something I might look for is to see how this daily candle wants to close. And on the NASDAQ, I might look for a short-term swing, not so much of a swing, but I'll probably target it with a day trade of this 20,206 because that's a daily pivot right there. So that's a pretty strong pivot to keep an eye on.
All right, so then that's on the ES. Anything on the NQ for you?
No, that is on the NQ.
Okay, my apologies.
No
Saw
worries.
your left screen there. And now I know sometimes. By the way, you mentioned. I know we've talked about crude oil and things like that.
Yeah.
Is there any levels that you have there before we go?
Yeah, for sure. That's right. Be quick today.
Yeah, I apologize.
No, that's all right, man. Listen, I'm telling you, that was a crazy good interview. I'm gonna want to go restart that and watch it. A replacement for lithium batteries. That's huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, crude oil, I've got a 2-hour supply zone up here. Really not the strongest, but definitely an area to watch. Now my supply and demand zones, I will find those at major pivots. We have a 1-hour demand zone right here. Now this is something I have an alert on for crude. Now, the reason I have an alert for that is because this was a strong area of consolidation and it had a very strong imbalance created after, right? So it had an impulse move, left a lot of unfilled orders. I'm going to widen that up for us. So this 1-hour demand zone, if I turn the drawings off, I can see this was an area of consolidation. We had a strong break, a flag, and continuation. So this area right here, see how this lower wick pushed below these previous lows? A lot of people, when this candle was forming, and this was a long red candle to the downside, people were hitting that sell button, hope for the market to reverse on them on that next hourly. Now, it was at 4 in the morning, so not too many people were getting trapped at that moment. But it's the point that we were trapping from those lows. A lot of people have their stop hunts at those lows or highs. And that is what fuels this move. So because of that, we have our drawings and our demand zone, 69.81 to about 69.40. I would look for buyers to step in on crude.
You know, what's interesting is you have that. I'm going to go ahead and share my charts here in a second.
Yeah.
And obviously, this isn't on the crude. It's on NQ, but it's kind of similar, in my opinion. You can tell me if I'm wrong. That's okay. Is where you had like support here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you had a break, a false break. And then as soon as it did, it's on the 4-hour, by the way, pop right back up, held the support, and then continued to move. So for me, what I'm looking at on the NQ is a break of this 2294 area. And if we get a retest on the 15-minute of it, I would be interested. You can see at the moment, still holding on as support on the NQ. And I know the NQ is down about 1%. You have a bunch of other stocks. I think Apple just hit 2% to the lows, and now it's looking to bounce up as well. So that's what I've got on the NQ. Any final thoughts from you?
No, yeah. I mean, I see that level too. That's a great level. I would definitely mark that as a key level and keep an eye on it. And just keep an eye on my higher time frames to look for a reversal because the sellers have been stepping in just these past few days.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Kevin. Again, folks, you can join Kevin and watch his streams. I've got the link up right there. It's twitch.tv futures Kevin. And don't, before I tease about what's coming up next, where else can they find you? You got a Twitter or anything like that?
Find me Bullish Bears on Instagram. I run that page. I'll post like educational content, bookmap education, quant data education, technical analysis type stuff. Twitch, I live stream Tuesday through Thursday, and on Bullish Bears on YouTube, I do live stream the mornings Monday and Friday.
All right, cool. We went ahead and posted your Twitch and also your Instagram info there as well. Appreciate your time here today, man.
Absolutely, man. I'll see you next time.
You got it, boss. All right. And again, folks, don't forget, you can go check out Apex. They have a sale going on right now, and you can go ahead and, here's how it works. They have 80% off at the moment. So you can go ahead and get an eval. You pass the eval, then you can get a funded account with them as well. There is the website. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. You can use promo code Fever. It helps out the stream. It helps us out, helps me out. And of course, if you have any questions, you can email me at any time at Zunaid@benzinga.com. Apex is what I personally use, and I pay with my own money. I don't get free evals or anything like that. I pay with my own money for the evals, the funded accounts, and all that stuff. So I utilize them as well. And here's what's coming up next. As you guys know, I got a chance to go to Miami with my man Aaron Thomas and Phil, and we got a couple of great interviews. So now you get a chance to watch my interview with the general manager of crypto from the Hood Summit 2024, and that is going to be a fun one. And we've got a couple of different interviews as well, but check it out. We'll see you next time.